Badlands. Explain those Badlands. That's a hell of a name.
Mr. Vice President, I'm going off script again, I know, but I just want to personally thank you. We've been through some stuff. We've gone through some of the most complex military operations this country's ever conducted, and your steady hand and your leadership during those was a great source of strength for me. Thank you for your leadership. Thank you for your character. Thank you for your selfless service. Thank you for commitment. Thank you for being a mentor to me, Mr. Vice President.
It's called the swamp. And you know what happened? And you know what I did? A big favor. I caught the swamp. I caught them all. Let's see what happens. Nobody else could have done that but me. I caught all of this corruption that was going on, and nobody else could have done it. Did I get that one right? Every 4 years, we gather on these steps to carry out the orderly and peaceful transfer of power. Today's ceremony, however, has very special meaning, because today we are not merely transferring power from one administration to another, but we are transferring power from Washington, D.C., and giving it back to you, the people. For too long, a small group in our nation's capital has reaped the rewards of government, while the people have borne the cost. Washington flourished, but the people did not share in its wealth. This American carnage stops right here and stops right now. The forgotten men and women of our country will be forgotten no longer. From this day forward, a new vision will govern our land. From this day forward, it's going to be only America first.
This is a president of the United States who is a danger to the Republic.
America first.
He knows he's an illegitimate president.
The oath of office I take today is an oath of allegiance to all Americans.
The great Trump recovery.
America will never be a socialist country. I will fight for you with every breath in my body.
Russia, Russian, pro-Russian, Russian, the Russians.
Russia.
And I will never, ever let you down.
A dangerous virus is spreading rapidly in China, and U.S. officials are very worried that it could come here.
This is really the worst attack we've ever had. This is worse than Pearl Harbor. This is worse than the World Trade Center. There's never been an attack like this.
The time for empty talk is over. Now arrives the hour of action. What they're doing is using COVID to steal an election. Together, we will make America strong again. You know what it's about? Fraud, fake ballot. We will make America wealthy again. They are trying to steal the election.
Now, under the leadership of President Trump, we are fully realizing President Kennedy's prescient view of Special Operations Forces.
We will make America proud again. And watch, please, those mail-in ballots. We will make America safe again. And in millions and millions of ballots, their vote is under what they thought they needed. They're dumping more ballots in there, okay? And yes, together, we will make America great again. Thank you. God bless you. If we are right about the fraud, Joe Biden can't be president.
Congress, the chair declares the joint session dissolved.
And God bless America.
The calm before the storm.
What storm, Mr. President?
You'll find out.
Here's
moment you've all been waiting for. Here is
Devolution.
Devolution with Patel Patriot.
The best is yet to come.
Congrats on this. I like this show. The Power Hour. That's got a good sound to it.
At the end of the day, we're going to beat these people. I'm not trying to be dramatic here, but it's been a hard fight. And these people hate our children. Just take more calls. Go ahead. There's the next person.
I'm so sorry. Not to be insensitive. But what the hell is going on with Alex Jones today? I don't understand. But welcome everybody to the Saturday edition of the Devolution Power Hour. And apparently Alex Jones' last day streaming or something.
What?
And Gay Pride Month. Well, happy, congratulate, whatever we're supposed to say for that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So in kicking off Gay Pride Month, so I guess sodomites decided to take the whole damn month. Long story short, Alex Jones is fake. We need to be above that shit. And don't doom out, because Alex Jones is just a big, chunky little butterball getting rich on the CIA's dime.
Yeah, he has been accused of being a Fed, and I believe I'm probably in agreement with that. But I don't understand. They're taking him down for liquidating his studio for Sandy Hook payments or something. The $90 trillion he owes. I don't understand.
Whatever. That whole trial. I think that the Sandy Hook trial of Alex Jones was kind of a dry run for the Donald Trump trials. That was fake. These are fake. It's all fake. This guy, freaking Mayor Chan or whatever, isn't even a real judge. He's an acting judge. Everything about this doesn't follow the law under any circumstances, and it seems custom made to piss off normies. And then it pisses me off because the normies are getting all freaked out about it.
Yeah,
that's the real thing, man. Everybody, I did an episode on this yesterday. I called it shock therapy. Like, these are all these little shocks that we get, and you'll keep feeling them until you don't feel them anymore. And sometimes all the normies get such a big one that we get like the reverberations of their being shocked. They all freak out. And the communists, who are mostly silent because things are going so badly for them on a general basis, they finally start like thumping their chests again the way they used to throughout 2020 and 2021. And people just can't believe that these guys haven't shut up yet. I think everybody was just kind of having a freak out by proxy, I guess, or they were vicariously freaking out through their normie friends.
Well, I can understand the people who don't pay attention to what's going on as closely as we do, and those in our community. I can understand them freaking out a little bit. Like, you know, I think there's even some belief that Trump can't even run for president anymore because he's been convicted. Like, I've heard people say that don't follow politics that closely. And whatever, you don't pay attention, you don't research this stuff regularly, you might doom out a little bit. But the people that are like closely following along and in this, and Patrick, you said it very well before the show, people that are watching the show, they're tuning in because you follow the Devolution series. You've been following us for a while. You've read the series. You believe there's probably something bigger going on behind the scenes. Those people freaking out and dooming out are the ones that I get a little, I don't know. I just don't understand. I don't understand it because it seems, it seems so orchestrated to me. And it's so necessary. Trump wants this. Like, Trump wanted that guilty verdict. And yet we're dooming out about something that he wanted because he knows it helps him narratively. I mean, this whole thing is, we're going to talk a lot about this tonight. It might be our only topic. Who knows?
When Chris says the beatings will continue until morale improves, he's not being figurative. The fact is that until and unless we get a situation where the vast bulk of the population is on the same page, which is the entire system has to be set aside and replaced with something that isn't filthy, then it's just going to keep going this way. And if they don't wake up with this, 34 convictions for paying off his side piece, then I guess we'll move on to the next phase, which is, I guess they have to sentence him to 2 billion years in a Russian gulag.
They might actually just rush the dates of these other trials up to see if they can get more trials before the election, just to give this rerun as many turns as they can give it before that point. You do have to remember that these are pretty high level, elaborate psyops that are supported by mass media on all sides. And I mean, we can go through and point out some of the narratives from supposedly our side that were obviously sent down from above. The first and foremost being, now what we need is to get all the DAs and AGs around the country to go out and start prosecuting Democrats. Like,
yeah, we're going to talk about that.
Yeah. So we can get into all that, but yeah, I mean, these are big psyops. So
yeah, let's before we get too far along, I do want to get a quick word in from the sponsor of tonight's show, EasyRx. And then we're gonna go down every avenue of this guilty verdict. We're gonna compare it to what Hillary did, where she literally was guilty of the same exact thing, except it was with the Steele dossier, no charges. We're gonna get into the dooming out. We're gonna get into all sorts of other stuff. What our side is pushing, what the other side is pushing. We're gonna go everywhere with this thing. So, Patrick, let's get a little EasyRx, and then we'll get down to business here.
We'd like to thank the folks at EasyRx for sponsoring our show tonight. They've helped so many Badlanders get the medicine they need without breaking the bank. As 2024 fires up for the summer and seems to be a rerun of 2020, it's the perfect time to stock up on these suppressed medications and get your family ready for anything they will throw at us. EasyRx has a wide variety of high-quality medications like ivermectin, hydroxychloroquine, fenbendazole, and so many more. The fake news is getting more exposed every day, and people are waking up to the truth about health and many inexpensive, life-saving medications. You'll find them all right here at EasyRx. The process is simple, the shipping is fast, and prices are unbeatable. Breathe easy, knowing that you and your family are prepared for anything. Don't wait any longer. Visit badlandsmedia.tv/EasyRx and use promo code BADLANDS for 10% off your purchase of $150 or more. That's badlandsmedia.tv/EasyRx, promo code BADLANDS. And just on a personal note, during the pandemic, right after the vaccines came in, my mother got really, really sick, and no American doctor would prescribe just a Z-Pack for her because she just thought it would be cute to volunteer the fact that she couldn't taste anything. So they said, no antibiotics for you. But groups like EasyRx get around all of that. They say, no, we're going to focus on what you need to get better. Here you go.
And I think the thing is we know they're going to do something here leading up to this election to try to derail it. Another sort of pandemic or something is not out of the question. It is worth investing in your stockpile of medicines. You should do so at EasyRx.
And get healthy, for God's sake. Stop eating processed food.
Yeah. Patrick, are you wearing that shirt in honor of Gay Pride Month? I'm just curious.
This shirt has gotten me more compliments than any other shirt that I own. The chat is complimenting me. Just 2 days ago, I got a compliment in this shirt, and I wear shirts twice before I wash them. So I just love compliments from strangers.
Okay. I was curious. I mean, I was more so just joking, but yeah, okay. Well, anyway, let's get into the topic. Chris, I think you had a good point right there. Let's start with some of the narratives that are coming out of our side, okay? Because this guilty verdict has been a long time coming. They have 7 different cases against Trump. They're clearly trying and gunning to get Trump on something. Trump has fully leaned into it. He was basically goading this judge who was giving him gag orders and like threatening him with jail time, like basically gag these nuts, right? Like, I will say whatever I want to say. Throw me in jail. He's begging the judge to throw him in jail. This guilty verdict was not a surprise once this whole thing started. But still, everybody's freaking out, and the narratives being pushed by our side are some interesting ones. First of all, the fundraising aspect of this is interesting. He raised a shit ton of money. That is for sure. Record-breaking amounts of money. To me, I mean, the money is nice, and I talked about this with you, Patrick, before the show. The money is nice, definitely. Helps with a presidential campaign. But I think it's a great way for Trump and his team to almost get data on how many people support him. If you're willing to financially support a candidate, you're willing to vote for him. You're willing to go tell your friends to vote for him. And right now, they're getting good feedback and data on what their actual level of support is. Not that they didn't already probably know that with the technology they have available, but I think it's good metrics. And it's not just metrics that they can have available, but the public, the left, the media. You can't argue with almost $60 million in like 36 hours or something. It's insane.
Trump actually said during his speech yesterday too that the left was raising a lot of money as well, and then he was like, "You got to wonder where all that comes from."
Yeah,
of course you know where it comes from. It gets flooded in from
tax dollars.
The philanthropist class. Well, I mean, they could be doing that as well, but I'm talking about for the Democrat campaigns and stuff. They just simply funnel it through those channels like Act Blue.
Yeah.
We need to make it better known that these NGOs aren't actually charities. Something that I think that I've seen in the normie sphere, a question that got asked by a very famous normie that I won't name said, if George Soros is so power hungry, why does he keep giving all his money away? And so I died a little inside. I know it's real bad, but that's one of the pieces of information that just needs to get out there. These NGOs aren't really actually charities.
Gosh, man. And really believe that is crazy.
I know it's really bad, but you know, we've all believed stupid shit. I believed back in 2002 that we needed to bomb every square inch of Iraq, and it would make me just feel so manly.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't remember where I was going to go after that. I had a comment on Soros. Oh, his son, Alex Soros.
Mm-hmm.
He had this post, and this is the narrative that they're going to be pushing, the left. Mm-hmm. Democrats, or Patrick, you want to read this?
Absolutely. Democrats should refer to Trump as a convicted felon at every opportunity. Repetition is the key to a successful message. We want people to wrestle with the notion of hiring a convicted felon for the most important job in the country.
And
we should read what the Goebbels quote about the big lie. Sounds very much like what Alex Soros just described.
Do you want to find that? Because
I can tell you the gist of the quote. The gist of the quote is not so much that you repeat the big lie, and that's part of it. But the big part is that the people, upon having heard it so many times, cannot conceive of an entity so wicked that would lie so hugely and so shamelessly, especially this little class of people called Gentiles.
Well, this is all part of the narrative warfare, right? Like this, I could see them using this as one of the excuses as to how Trump lost the election. Like they're going to start switching the polls now in their mainstream media stuff. And when it comes time for the election, they're going to say, see, we told you Trump was going to lose because he's a convicted felon. But the thing about this particular narrative, Patrick, that they've been seeding this same narrative for like 9 years. And it went all the way from him being a literal Russian asset, like Putin's puppet, to this convoluted case where you needed a corrupt judge and all these other things to fall your way, a New York jury. The whole thing is a joke. This is not the felon that they promised he would be, and it came 9 years later. Like so, the whole, I think they've almost like they're the boy who cried wolf at this time. You know what I mean? So I don't think it has the effects that it could have had back in 2017, 2018, even the 2020 election. This is they played their hand. It's not going to be that impactful, I don't think.
They want to be able to keep crying wolf too. So now they've just grabbed like a skunk and dressed it up like a wolf and said, hey, look, we told you this wolf was real.
Yeah. Every aspect of their smear machine is dying. So yeah, this is from Goebbels. If you tell a lie big enough and keep repeating it, people will eventually come to believe it. The lie can be maintained only for such time as the state can shield the people from the political, economic, and or military consequences of the lie. It thus becomes vitally important for the state to use all of its powers to repress dissent, for the truth is the mortal enemy of the lie, and thus, by extension, the truth is the greatest enemy of the state. Joseph Goebbels.
It was always so preposterous to me that they were calling questions about the obviously stolen in broad daylight 2020 election the big lie, because it was so clear which party of the, and I don't mean political party, but which party was the one who was using the power of the state to suppress dissent right at that time. It clearly wasn't Trump and MAGA. I mean, we do not have the power of the apparatus. There is no point at which we have had that power, including even while Donald Trump was in his first term as president. He was thoroughly subverted by the unelected bureaucratic state, and you can just work outwards from there to the corporations, to academia, parts of the military industrial complex, both political parties, Hollywood entertainment, big tech. You can just go on down the list. There was no power from Trump to suppress dissent. There's no power from Trump at any point up till now to even be the dictator they claimed he wants to be.
Okay, well, what you just said there, Trump had basically no parts of the establishment or the regime on his side for what happened in 2020. And technically, we haven't had that at any point in time throughout this entire thing.
Right.
Yet, even so, the momentum that has shifted in this country from 2020 till now, even, and it shifted from 2016 to 2020. His base grew, his support grew, the Q drops, everything, it grew. Went through some bullshit with COVID, but from then till now, it's come so far. And you would think that would be something that should be impossible considering the levers of power that the left has. But that it still happened. And the reason I think that happened is exactly why devolution was implemented. It's this narrative warfare, and it's these ghosts in the machines that they are able, those are the levers of power that the mainstream media can't control. And I think those are the levers of power that they use within their own, constructs. Like you can propagate information on mainstream platforms, and they can't control that. I don't think, you know what I mean? I don't fully know the capabilities of the ghosts in the machines or the fourth PSYOP group, or, if they can bypass Facebook algorithms and put out narratives or whatever, but I have to imagine they can pretty much do whatever the hell they want. And the fact that we've come so far in this narrative war with the momentum, I mean, they're clearly doing something, unless it's literally just like all us and it's all grassroots, which maybe that could be too, but I can't imagine that's just it.
Well, we do have the two most powerful weapons on our side, the truth and Donald Trump. Yeah.
I've been trying to come up with a unified theory of this apparatus that you both just talked about. The levers of information power. We don't really know who's controlling any individual lever, and we don't really know who has control of the bulk of those levers of power. And it has occurred to me that it may be possible that levers that we think of as enemy platforms have been for a long time now seized and controlled by the good guys. You can see it in the degree to which they beclown themselves at all times. And remember, just because the people you see on the television are acting imbecilic to a degree that you can't comprehend, it doesn't mean that they're doing it on purpose. These people take orders from their bosses, and their bosses may be taking orders from people whose faces they can't see. And if it's possible to seize the levers of power in some kind of physical, kinetic way, in a way that the people who receive the orders don't know about it, you could conceivably seize an information platform from the enemy and control them without them even knowing that they've had their source of control completely changed. And I think there's some of that going on in this information war right now.
I agree. I fully agree with that. I also think, though, that if you did have even enough control to mostly staff an organization, and then you had some BS narrative like DEI or the gender nonsense or whatever it is, you could actually, if you wanted that organization to fail spectacularly and embarrass itself at every turn, you could just feed those people whatever they wanted for a period of time and allow them to self-destruct, because they will. If you put those people together and you don't give them very specific controls about exactly what they're supposed to do, and you allow them like to roam freely, they're going to destroy shit because they're retarded. I mean, imagine taking all the wokest, worst mainstream media figures and putting them on the same panel for your election coverage. That would be absolutely terrible coverage. And if you did it every night for a long time, not only those people, but everyone in their audience would be that much dumber for it. And if you want to see an example of that, all you have to do is turn on CNN or MSNBC any night of the week.
Yeah, Patrick, what you said there it's really hitting home with me. We've talked about a lot of these executive orders that Trump has put into place, like 13818, 13848, all these things. Many of these allow for the potential seizure of assets, right? We've talked about this as maybe that's how Elon Musk got Twitter. But there's also there's another loophole in a time of war, which we discuss this all the time, that Trump used some sort of act of war, whether it was a stolen election or COVID or whatever. And that was like the impetus and the authority that allowed him to implement something like devolution. Okay. If we're in an information war and you needed to fight back and you needed to basically hijack or take over domestic businesses in order to fight that war, like think back to World War II or think back to even COVID. Trump basically, he ordered the auto manufacturers to make ventilators. You can do certain things. You have certain authorities through, I think it's the Economic Powers Act or whatever, or wartime
Defense Production Act.
Yeah, maybe that's that. It's one of these acts.
And there's another one too. Yeah.
Yeah, the War Powers Act, I'm pretty sure is one of them. But you can basically do whatever you want. You can go and tell a business, a Ford Motors, that hey, you need to make ventilators. You're going to stop your assembly of vehicles and make ventilators instead. In an information war,
it's called the Stafford Act. The Stafford Act was also leveraged during the pandemic for
yeah, that's like national emergency, I think, or whatever. But my point is, if you're in an information war, would it be theoretically possible? And this is something I haven't really fully explored with my thought process yet. But would it be possible to hijack basically every possible source of information that you wanted to fight back in that war? You know what I mean? Like that would fit the scenario that you outlined, Patrick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could also conjure a war out of thin air without any actual firing of boom sticks.
Yeah, you could actually even give the participants in that war wooden guns and put them on TV. And despite doing that, people would still believe that it's all real and that the news is telling them the truth.
Well, it is the television.
It is the television. That's true. People cannot get enough of their favorite television characters.
Well, I'm trying to find that what you sent in the chat here. I want to find it so we can show it. Because somebody on the chat said, is Trump going to Rikers part of the plan? And this is, I think, something we should discuss a little bit. The dooming out. I feel like that was kind of a doomy comment. And I don't think we should be dooming right now. First of all, I think it's a toxic mindset generally. Like, I feel like, I don't know. I think it's unnecessary. But I do not believe that this is a situation to doom out over. I think this has been good for Trump. This entire situation, he raised the most money ever by a political candidate in 24 hours based on this ruling. It's just so interesting. We were talking about this on Friday, or was it Wednesday, or I don't remember what show, but somehow both sides of this trial were wanting the same outcome. The Biden administration wanted this outcome from day one, but so did Trump. This only helps Trump, and I don't understand the dooming over it. Like, Trump right now, he is found guilty on how many counts? 34 counts, and he's at a UFC fight. And Chris, this reminds me of your "so indicted" thing. Does this guy look like he's got 34 counts on him? I gotta find the video. Hold for processing.
I've got a tweet that I can read to you.
Do it.
Trump got 3 baby mamas, a mugshot, and 34 felonies for paying off his side piece. This man is blacker than Barack Obama.
So true. Okay, check this out. This guy heading to Rikers Island, right? Just so super evil.
45. Being ushered in by UFC CEO Dana White.
Your "so indicted" thing is so perfect for this.
Yeah, he's so convicted.
He's so convicted, getting sentenced on July 11th. And Judge Juan Carlos Benaviste Andres Merchan is going to sentence him.
Just gonna mute it, but the crowd's going freaking nuts for him.
Yeah. I think that he sees Ivanka and Jared right here at the end of this clip, by the way. If I'm not mistaken, I believe they're in the building. Maybe it's not this clip, but there's one of those ones that I sent you earlier.
I mean, look at these kids here. He just shook their hands, right? Watch these kids do on this. Okay, right here. Watch what they do here. They're like freaking out. That's so cool. This guy has the support of all the people.
Yeah.
In a big, big way. And
The
the only
announcer.
way that you...
There's Rogan.
Oh, my God. Oh, look. They gave him a telephone book to stand on.
Yeah, here's Jared and Ivanka behind him right there.
Theo's there.
Look at him freak out. Wait, is that
It's Theo Vaughn.
God.
I can't freaking believe it. That fucking guy.
And then there's another one here where during the fight, they're chanting, "We want Trump."
I think there's just a freeness about that, right? That dancing, breaking, and when you can incorporate that into your fighting style.
Like nobody gives a shit about the fight. They're just chanting, "We want Trump."
Oh my God.
Right there. Jill.
And this is in New Jersey, which is, I'm pretty sure, Manhattan adjacent. So this is good, guys. Like,
how many people are in that stadium?
I don't know.
Burning
lot.
Bright said 17,000, but I don't know if he was joking.
Yeah, I don't know.
My gosh.
But does he look worried to you? I don't think so.
Wow. I was not expecting this. I did not know that it was going to be like this when Trump got convicted.
Yeah, I mean, I don't
I'm
really feel
really
anything.
excited. It's great.
Yeah.
Like, what is it that you've seen that people are actually dooming out about with this? Like, do people think he's? I mean, I don't understand. I don't understand the reason to doom out. This was a clearly biased situation from the get-go.
Donald Trump said before the thing, I think I might be quoting him verbatim, Mother Teresa wouldn't have been able to get a not guilty verdict in this rigged trial.
He did say that. Yeah,
kind of prepared us.
Everybody always thinks that when Trump says certain things, they're just euphemisms. Like he said that, but that's just Trump exaggerating the way he talks. You know, that's just like his New York speech style. Even Mother Teresa couldn't have gotten out of this. Like he's just joking around. Take him seriously for 2 seconds. He called the trial fake 100 times. I mean, what does the guy got to do? And whenever all of this is complete, people will be like, he should have told us that it was just fake. He did. Again and again and again.
Yeah, he really did. So just to crystallize, the devolution hypothesis says this basically. Look, Trump couldn't just tell everybody the election was rigged and start arresting criminals because there would have been a civil war.
Not publicly, at least.
Yep.
Right. So he had to do this, which is a devolution period where the government is not under his direct control. It is devolved to a more distributed network of very secretive groups that keep the Democrats from burning everything to the ground while broad consensus is manufactured.
100%.
You want to know what'll generate broad consensus? Donald Trump and Rikers. That'll generate broad consensus. In fact, when I went to J6, and I won't tell you who I was with, but everybody, this is one thing I heard from everybody. No, we're never going to get violent. But one thing people said was, they said, I think one hard line would be if they imprisoned Donald Trump. Then all bets are off.
But interestingly enough, he got a guilty verdict and not a single store shop window was broken. Not a riot anywhere in the country to be found, which for a group of insurrectionists, like we're all mega extremists, domestic extremists, right? We are insurrectionists. we believe in all, whatever. I feel like this would have been a situation where you probably would have seen a few burning cars or something. We didn't see any of that.
Yeah.
It's weird. We just need to get more organized, maybe.
We have a Bill Maher video. We're going to see.
Yeah. Well, you know, everybody always, all the Con Inc. outlets always let us know when Bill Maher has said something that is even slightly not a deranged, the words of a deranged communist. And then we're supposed to be like, oh, he's our new best friend now, like we do with everyone who says nice things ever at all. Yep. But here he is in Mediaite. He was talking to former Obama campaign manager David Axelrod.
God,
talking about how we're going to start a race war if Trump is put in prison because Juan Merchan's name is Juan, and that's brown enough for those maggots.
I mean, I'm down to deport him, but
wow. Let's see if
I would really be shocked if this judge gave him a prison sentence for this.
I mean, MAGA Nation will go nuts. I don't know if that's a reason to or not to do something, but they will.
Yeah, but one of the things about this apocalyptic language that you hear from all of these, the Amen chorus, is they really are inviting violence. And that's a big concern of mine. And Trump is completely unrestrained in suggesting that maybe that's appropriate. I mean, he hints that all the time. That's how he got in trouble on January 6th. And he's doing it again because I think he's more desperate now than he was then.
But if they put him in jail, I know it'll happen because the judge's name was Juan.
Yes.
Everything becomes racial in this country. You know, that's partly because of our horrible, despicable racial past. Partly
no, it's because of you.
That racism.
Yeah, I literally didn't even know his first name was Juan until this segment. So
well, I made sure to make fun of his Spanish name.
I'm sure you did.
And some of it because.
But anyway, that's insane.
I love how they think that they are able to discern what it is Trump is saying. And they always say that it's a dog whistle. This is a dog whistle to MAGA Nation. They're going to hear what Trump is saying and they're going to take it the way we say they're going to take it. Like, no, we're not.
Yeah.
It only matters how we interpret it. Like if we're going to be the ones that respond to the words with violence, then it's actually only our interpretation that matters. And when we say, no, that's not what he's saying at all, they have to give that point up.
Yeah.
Also, Juan Merchan is white as fuck. Okay.
You know, one thing we've talked about a lot is when you go back to Trump's 2016 campaign, one of the last speeches he gave, he talked all about giving the government back to we the people, right? Mm-hmm. There's all aspects of our government and this entire system that are corrupted. And I think the judicial system is one that often gets overlooked. Like so many people have this blind faith in our judicial system. And if you're going to expose something like that, because I think he's exposed a lot of different aspects of our government, but if you're going to expose the judicial system, is there a better person to have something like this happen to, like a corrupt sentencing and all this thing, a corrupt trial, corrupt judge? Every aspect of this makes no sense if you paid any attention at all. There's no better person on planet Earth for something like this to happen to reach more people and wake up more people to the corrupt nature of our judicial system. Because there are J6 defendants right now that have gone through Washington, D.C. juries and judges and have had the same outcome that Trump has had, except without the support, without the finances, without all these things, not running for president. They're kind of mostly ignored. You know what I mean? Maybe some of them are actually, I don't know. I haven't followed everyone, but it's just an interesting point that I saw somebody else make it on Twitter, that the judicial system and what Trump went through this week is not uncommon. And who better to expose it than Trump himself? And I think that's what this was all about, is exposing this, but also building a massive amount of support and waking up kind of the indifferent crowd. I think that's who it affected.
I hope that's true. I mean, welcome aboard if that's the case. You know, I really want all those people to like come and make a positive contribution. So I hope it did wake some of those people up. There's a lot of people who, you know, for various reasons still deny that the 2020 election was rigged and stolen. And they think that we can still exist inside some sort of normal political realm. And, you know, a lot of those people wanted different candidates other than Trump to be the Republican nominee. They supported other people during the primary process because they wanted life to go back to how it was before. And I think that maybe they're just starting to come to terms with the fact that A, it wasn't that great then, it was mostly bullshit, and B, we're not going back no matter what. There is no going back.
Yeah, but what does the transition look like? Because what happens when every part of the system is completely captured? And I know we keep coming back to this over and over and over again. You can't vote your way out of this unless it's too big to rig, I suppose. But they know it's going to be too big to rig. So what do they got planned?
I got the clip now. I'm going to play it. Jessica sent it over.
Uh-oh. It's interesting that Trump is like so indicted, and he's he's also at a college football game today and like popping into a frat house, coming out and like flipping burgers to the cheers of thousands of people, throwing footballs just for fun.
That's panic, Chris.
But he's very, very indicted.
Yeah, it's the same vibe. Which, by the way, guys, if you haven't yet, make sure you get your GART tickets to Deadwood because it's going to be a killer time.
Can I just say that when I said that, people were still taking all this stuff really seriously, and like the reaction in the room was great, but there were people out there who do the thing that they always do with Patrick and I, and they're like, oh, I think that's irresponsible to talk that way. And now it's been 6 months, and it's like, nah, probably wasn't that irresponsible. It was probably just correct. I mean,
well, what did you say that was irresponsible?
Just the whole thing where I'm not taking these indictments have been handed down. You can read them. They're real. It's all very real.
Was it CanCon who said this to you or something?
I don't know.
Oh, that would be.
I'm just kidding. CanCon, are you in the chat or at Taco Bell, or what are you doing?
I haven't seen him.
He eats. I feel like he's, no offense, CanCon, but I feel like he took this pretty hard, and so this episode's for you, bro.
Yeah, bro.
He sometimes. I feel like he's got multiple groups of friends. He's in a couple different cliques, and so when he's in Badlands, when he's in the Badlands clique, he's all chill about that stuff. But when he gets around the normies on Twitter and like the people who freak out about things, that has an impact. And I think that that's true for everyone, to be fair.
Well, and
I'm also just giving CanCon shit, but
I think it's fair because there is a subset of conning Twitter that is like, or right-wing Twitter. I don't even know what to call them, but they want people to be dooming out.
Yes.
That is and maybe that is even what the Devo team and the Q team or whatever, maybe that is the result that they want. But
they're acting like,
for me and for us, like here at Badlands, we call things for what they are and how we see them. And it's clearly a narrative deployment. And you don't need to subscribe to that. And I refuse to. But there is this huge push, like what you said earlier, Chris, and this is something that absolutely drove me nuts too on Twitter. I even posted about it. There's people saying like, hey, right now we need all of these Republicans, these DAs to go out and indict the first Democrat you see and put them all in jail and do all this stuff. Like, we need to do what they did to Trump right back to them right now. And I think that's stupid. Like, I do think at some point we're going to be able to give them a little taste of their own medicine, but it's going to be with actual, crimes and all this other stuff. But doing it right now, it's the worst possible timing because this political persecution of Trump, he's capitalizing on it. He's benefiting from it. If you go and give it to the enemy, it almost like washes out Trump's win. Like, why would you do that?
Because they're controlled. Yeah, these people are just controlled opposition. I don't know what it's going to take for people to let go of their TV characters, but sooner or later, you got to do it.
Don't forget about the bots on Twitter. The most lethal weapon in the world is a friggin' Twitter bot pretending to be human.
Not the bots I get, man.
20,000 Twitter bots to go do 10 tweets per second and make sure that they put out the clown world narrative. It's better than any propaganda tool that can be imagined.
Are you thinking of any bot in particular? Like, literally the only bots that I know are bots that I see are the porn bots. And there's so many on Twitter. Elon sucks at cleaning up bots.
No, not porn bots. I mean people that you think are people that are just computer programs.
Like who? Do you have any? Do you have anybody off the top of your head?
There's no way to know. You could be talking to a real person, or you could be talking to a Twitter bot. You can't tell the difference, and that's the dastardly part of it.
So I spent a whole lot of time doing this for 15 months on Twitter with the Ron DeSantis people, and they had massive bot armies, and so did the Ukraine, like the NAFO op and all that stuff. If you get what did she say?
Their nudes are never actually in their bios. Fucking terrorists.
If you are accustomed to talking to AI chatbots and you kind of have a sense and a feel for the parameters of an AI when it's talking to you, you can usually be pretty certain with the bots on Twitter, because they will always go to the same sorts of things. They'll use the same methods to attack and try to make points and try to get other people on their side and try to publicly self-victimize. There are all sorts of techniques that are usually pretty easy to spot. I'm sorry. So, let me finish this one thing. Then damn it, now I lost it because I was reading the Steve Bannon thing and trying to figure out where to get in. I'll get it back. Go ahead.
I was just going to say the Steve Bannon thing, this is proof that it's a narrative deployment, because he is the narrative deployment arm of MAGA.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yes, he is. The fact that it's hard to tell the difference between a bot and a real retard is the whole point. I didn't sign up for the job of trying to figure out who's a bot and who's a retard.
I don't think you get hired for it.
I would.
I can't do it. All right, you're hired.
Yeah, but the fact that you have to expend energy figuring it out at all means that the vast majority of human beings will never spot the difference, and they are very much the prey of these bots. If you convince somebody they're in a tiny minority when they're in fact in the overwhelming majority, you win. It's over.
That's where we've been for 9 years now. People have to understand that we really, really are a vast, vast majority, and we need to act like it. We need to stop groveling every time someone says something that sounds like it might be helpful. Like, hey, I'm going to help you guys if you just get everyone I know elected for the next 2 cycles. It's like, okay, well, by then we're all dead, but thank you for your offer of help. I just want to say about the bot thing, one thing I do now is I pretend that they're like the way that people used to talk about cops in 80s and 90s movies. And I will say to them, hey, it sounds like you're a retarded AI, and if I ask, you have to tell me.
And do they ever tell you?
They always say that they're not, which makes it clear that they are, and then they disappear.
If they run, they're VC. If they stand still, they're well-trained VC.
Speaking of groveling to like the powers that be, or maybe this doesn't fit, but Tim Pool had Laura Loomer on his podcast on YouTube. They were talking about this stuff, and they were talking about like going after these people, right, that were doing this to Trump. And Laura Loomer said something about we need to execute all these people for treason or something. And Tim Pool ended the stream and took it off. Like, he just ended it. He's like, we can't have that on YouTube. Like, are you fucking kidding me?
He's right. You can't call that kid knows the rules, and he's gonna follow them. He's based and red pilled, but he makes. I bet you that friggin' guy makes $50 million a year.
Jeez,
probably more than that.
Are you serious?
How could he not?
Think about it for a second. A 30-second spot is 10 grand.
Are you kidding me?
I kid you not.
That is insane.
Yeah, this is one of the things that I've said a number of times now, but it's always worth remembering. These people are ultimately lying, okay? Yes. They do know better, and they are showing you very clearly that they are willing to preference their ability to keep their platform and continue earning at the rate they're earning above what the truth is and above those principles. They get paid $1 million a week to lie to you and to keep you in an informational past. And, maybe that's part of some grand plan. And at some point, they'll start telling the truth to people when it actually matters rather than years later. But so far, there's absolutely no proof that they are inclined to do that. They're not moving in that direction. They are just riding the same wave everyone else is riding. The wave is moving in our direction. It's apart from the awakening, which is also happening, but people are being moved in our direction because that's what the narrative calls for. They want Donald Trump to be in this position because they're going to use Joe Biden as a fall guy. They'll allow Trump to win. They'll make sure to steal all the down ballot races and all the state races. No one's going to question it because Trump won, right? We're all going to just shut off at that point, and then they get to do whatever the hell they want. Keeping people that far in the past is absolutely a worthwhile regime strategy, and there's no way to be certain that these people are not doing that. And absent that, I don't know why everyone is so quick to give them the benefit of the doubt in every situation when all we know for certain is that they're not telling the truth about things they absolutely should know.
Okay, here's a point that people are saying in the chat. Oh, but he put it up. He put the full episode up on Rumble. Yeah, great. That's the side of his following that watches him on Rumble. He has a huge following on YouTube that doesn't go to Rumble to watch any of his stuff. They're not going to go to Rumble. And those are the people that he's lying to because he's not willing to say the things that he should be saying, the truth, in order to stay on YouTube. Like that is the literal problem.
Absolutely. And that is a corrupt activity in order to get more money. And to crystallize what Chris is saying, if they're telling you the truth 18 months too late, it's just as bad as lying to you.
I mean, as far as I'm concerned, yeah, it's still lying because when they finally tell the truth, it's not like it's the full truth. And it's not like, hey, I got this wrong because of X, Y, Z. And it's not like they're pushing forward. It's just, hey, everybody can see that this is how things are now. I also just think in a principled way, she's not saying anything bad. She's not advocating violence. She's not saying something or encouraging something illegal. So you have to then make the platform take the channel down. Make them take you down. He's got a huge audience that will follow him somewhere else. He's got enough money to give him a buffer of a month or 2 months or 3 months or however many months. He could probably never work again and be fine. Yeah. All of that suggests that the principle can be preferred in every situation and he doesn't do it. And then that means that the bluff and the rule do all the work for the regime. They don't even have to enforce their own rules because everybody is such a pussy that they're going to just bow to the rules on their own in the first place.
Spot on, man. And, okay, speaking of working for the regime, another narrative push that I've seen very heavily already, and I say heavily, and I didn't like this wasn't being funny or anything, but Jenna Ellis, okay, she's the one who I first saw say this, a heavy person herself. They're making this push now that we need to move on from Trump because of these indictments. And we are going to see, even though the candidate they supported already came out and endorsed Trump, DeSantis, whatever, but the DeSantards are making a huge push right now that we need to abandon Trump and move on to somebody else, whether it's DeSantis, whoever else. We're going to see a lot more of that as this continues on. Like the sentencing is going to be another round of this. That's another narrative deployment that you just need to basically give them a middle finger. We can't allow it. It is Trump or Patrick, was it you who said this? It's either Trump or death.
Yes.
Yep. Love it.
And just to make sure that everybody heard you correctly, yes, Jenna Ellis is fat.
So Trump's going to get sentenced 4 days before the Republican National Convention. Is he going to be hauled off to prison at that point and miss the convention?
Oh, I bet they do. And that's going to be their switch. And while that's happening, they are going to virtually nominate Joe Biden for the DNC to make sure he gets access to the Ohio ballot, which that's interesting in and of itself. There's not going to be a switch out of, wouldn't that be something? They've been talking about switching out Biden forever, and there's no switch out because he's in there early. But then they try to switch out Trump at the convention because he's not there because he's in a prison. That would be insane, man. I can't imagine the doing.
Dude, they're gonna freak out and start like gnashing teeth and writhing on the ground. And it's going to hurt my feelings because I really genuinely don't want them to suffer. like I'm related to these people. You know, they're good people. They want Trump to win, but you know, the beatings will continue until morale improves. And Donald Trump getting freaking hauled off to, dude. You know, here's the thing, though. Okay, so you know, Juan Merchan decides to sentence him to 50 gajillion years in prison or whatever. Doesn't he get out on bail pending appeal, which is going to last past the election?
100%.
Is there any way that they can at least make people worry that he's just going to go straight to jail? Are they worried at all that might happen? Is there any way for that to happen? Can Donald Trump concoct that?
That's a great question. I mean, I don't know. I think anything is possible. The fact that he was found guilty in the first place off of this, anything is possible. And I think him getting hauled off to prison, I think he wants that more than anybody. Like, could you imagine a shot of Trump behind bars? I mean, the left is like, that's the shot they've been looking for forever, even more than the mug shot. But Trump would capitalize on that shit so hard. It's so freaking funny because they've been saying we cannot elect Trump because he is going to imprison and persecute his political opponents. And they're saying that in the same breath that they're like, yeah, he's guilty of this and we're going to put him in prison. It's so obvious. Like it's funny. It has to be fucking fake. It has to be.
Okay. Hear me out. Cornrows. You know,
oh my gosh,
that's going to sell tickets.
Somebody, I think, made that graphic already, right?
Yeah, I think I've seen a couple.
Just a freaking 60 Minutes interview with him strolling the yard with his massive gang that he's able to form 8 minutes after getting in.
It would be really funny to have a public awakening to the fact that Nelson Mandela is a communist. And Trump will be the new Nelson Mandela.
Oh, absolutely.
While they're trying to make Trump Hitler and MAGA Nazis, we'll just be laughing at these retards.
And here we are. AP News, DNC Clinton campaign agree to steal dossier funding. Fine. The Clinton campaign hired Perkins Coie, which then hired Fusion GPS, a research and intelligence firm, to conduct opposition research on Republican candidate Donald Trump's ties to Russia. But on FEC forums, the Clinton campaign classified the spending as legal services.
That is what they imprisoned Trump for, or found him guilty of, essentially. Except this is far, far worse, what they actually did. And what Trump did, he didn't actually do anything. That was all Michael Cohen with his own personal money. But anyway, I digress.
It's wonderful. You know, who's holding Merchan's leash? Does he walk around the streets and everybody just knows he's this ridiculously tyrannical douchebag who doesn't care about the law and just railroads people for money? Is it just common knowledge in New York now? What about these jurors who had to sit through that trial and they came out unanimous without even knowing what the crime was? What's actually going on here? Make it make sense.
I don't know. I don't understand how you can find well, I think there are enough Trump deranged people out there, people who watch the mainstream media that just they don't care. They don't care about the actual evidence. They just want to find somebody guilty. And that is a flaw in our system. There is bias, especially in these big cases like this. I don't know, but it just doesn't make sense. But I don't think the average person knows like any of the. I honestly don't even know all the details of what went on in this case. Maybe people like Kyle do, who actually read through the entire transcripts and the documents. They might know, but do you guys know any of the actual details that actually went on within that courtroom?
I did not read the transcripts. I mean, I would I would read summaries of the day's events and what the arguments were. But I mean, I was not all that engaged with the court case because it's fake. So
I mean, that's kind of my point. Like, so that's you, and you pay attention to stuff on the daily and have for years.
Uh-huh.
I'm trying to think of like my dad, for instance. He doesn't pay attention to the news really, except for, he might catch glimpses here every now and then. And all he really gets is, oh yeah, Trump was found guilty today of 34 counts of whatever.
You got to understand the way the communist child brain works. They will substantiate their emotional position with whatever facts they believe prove their case beyond a shadow of a doubt. And if you don't immediately agree with what they've said, they will get mad, call you names, and then leave because they don't have anything else to say. Somebody was telling me in my chat today about a conversation that they had with one of their siblings. I think it was her brother or brother-in-law or something. And he was saying things like all the people who testified were Trump's people. So as if like that means that they were on his side. Now they have left. It's kind of like when Liz Cheney and Adam Kinzinger were on the sham J6 committee. That's what made it legitimate. This is the kind of thing that they think. And they think if he was found guilty on all 34 charges, then he must be really, really guilty because it's like 34-0, like as if the Lakers just won their last 34 games or something. Oh, they must be really good. Like as if that is some sort of qualitative judgment on how guilty he was. It was 34-0 guilty. There was no question about it in anyone's mind. And the idea that the jury went back and deliberated through that afternoon and they just couldn't finish their work. So they went back the next day and it took them all day till the afternoon to figure out. They even had evidence read to them again. And so that means that they took it very, very seriously. And of course, all the media figures on the left were out there saying, the jury took this case really seriously. These are the sorts of arguments. It's like with the election stuff. Well, Bill Barr said there wasn't evidence. 62 courts saw the evidence and they said there was not enough widespread evidence to overturn the fraud. Chris Krebs said it was the safest and most secure election of all time. It's not evidence of anything. It's not a logical reason. It's not a logical argument. There's no reasoning involved. It's just they're repeating what they heard. That's the extent of their knowledge. They assume it has to be true because people like them wouldn't lie to people like them. And if you don't agree with them, that makes you stupid, which is all they want in the first place, is for you to argue so they can say, no, look at the power we just flexed. That means you're wrong.
We should talk about this a little bit more because we here understand that we're in the middle of an information war, a narrative warfare, right? Mm-hmm. We are fighting for the narrative, for Trump's narrative. And there are some narratives that can put out there that Trump wants. And I think there are a lot of them surrounding this guilty verdict and this whole entire situation that he is capitalizing on. But still, there are people out there that don't understand or at least see things the way that we see things. And how do we combat that? How do we combat the normie mind out there that's seeing, okay, 34, he's guilty. He must actually have committed a crime here because there's so many crimes, like 34 crimes. Like, holy shit, he's got more. I think I saw a meme that he's got more like whatever guilty what do you call it? It's not sentences, it's not 34 counts more than Al Capone or something. Like they make him out to be so, but it's so funny. But still, some people aren't smart enough, or maybe that's not even the right way to say it, but some people look at that and they're like, oh my God, Trump is worse than Al Capone. How can we elect this guy to be president? There are people out there who process things that way, and we need to be able to combat that stuff.
Have you met any of them?
No, and I hope I never do, but I know
I've met thousands.
Okay, so they're Democrats, right?
Well, there's
Hollywood.
Definitely people like that who happen to be Republicans as well. They just end up generally on the right side of this argument. Almost everyone I knew in Los Angeles was like that.
No. I mean, at this point.
Oh, well, I mean, I can't imagine that maybe 10 or 20% have.
I want to know how significant a group that is, because we just saw Donald Trump's WinRed site crash in about 11 nanoseconds after the guilty verdict came out. Like, you had Andrew Tate coming out saying, I'm donating $200,000 to my N-word Trump. And there was a community note that says Donald Trump is white. But anyway,
come on, really?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Oh, that is hilarious.
Yeah, it was brilliant.
That is a really racist note, to be honest.
It is a really racist note. It didn't get enough votes, but it still was put there.
Which Tate did
for
that?
Our enjoyment. Andrew Tate did that,
or was it Tristan?
No, it was Andrew. Patrick, finish your point.
So anyway, I want to know what percentage we're dealing with right now, right? Because if it's 10%, okay, who cares? But we're seeing retarded polls out there that say, well, here's the percentage of people who now find themselves less likely to vote for Donald Trump because he's been convicted of 34 counts of being fake and gay. And then you look at the donation numbers, you look at his website crashing, you look at Cobra Tate. Oh, no, I guess there's no note there. What?
You fell for a fake meme, but that's hilarious. It should be real.
No, it was a real attempt at a note, but it didn't get enough. It didn't get enough votes to stay there.
Oh man, did you know that there is that they say that's a hard R?
That is a hard R. That is a hard
I can't
R.
even believe that's a concept.
Hard R's for Trump. Oh, that's the Hodge twins. Those guys are freaking brilliant.
Yeah, those guys give away like pickups and shit. I want to pick up.
Dude, those guys sell a lot of supplements.
Do they?
Oh yeah, I was watching them right after Donald Trump won.
Did you do anything other than like? I feel like you say that about so many people. Like, what is that? All you were doing, just like online 24/7 watching people?
Yes.
Okay.
It was really obsessive, like crazy, absorbing content. Probably 12 straight hours every day from YouTube and Twitter.
Yeah, this episode started out as a dedicated to CanCon and him dooming out a little bit, but I think we need to change it a little bit to an intervention for you and your love of Scott Adams.
No, forget it. I'm beyond all hope.
He had a tweet though.
Hypnotized.
He had a tweet that was ridiculous. So I'm trying to find it.
Oh, he does it. He tweets something. He tweets something ridiculous all the time.
I know.
You know what I like about him? I like the fact he just feels like a real guy struggling to figure things out. And he could be not, obviously. I mean, my God, could he not be? But I just get authenticity off of him. And it's so hard to find it.
Okay. I think I found it. Well, now I need to hold on. I found the picture of it. I just want to show it on his profile. It's the Soros one.
Oh, he put that in print too? Jesus.
Okay, it's here. Yeah, well, it's on Twitter. So read it.
Oh, God. Nothing makes sense. 1, why would Soros want a narco-tyranny? He lives in America. 2, even if Soros Sr. is nuts, how do you explain his son? And many Democrats have the same policies. 3, if Soros is the cause of everything destroying our cities and America itself, why aren't we seeing Alex Soros on any news program defending where his money goes? 4, if we really think Soros is destroying America, why don't Republicans act like they believe it? Democrats are certainly acting like Trump is Hitler because they genuinely believe it. Our thoughts and our observed reality are not syncing up.
Can't put a price tag on that.
Oh, Patrick, that was too good. You've watched way too much of him. You got that nailed.
I really do.
I always worry when the people who have reliably failed to properly observe reality are telling us that their observed reality doesn't match up with their thoughts. That is actually productive. But, you know, a lot of those people, as we were talking about, the Jenna Ellises, the DeSantis Simps of the world, the people telling us how this situation should be responded to, are people who have been wrong about virtually everything for this entire time, continually doing stupid things themselves and leading their audiences or followings to do similarly stupid things. And, you know, the op in particular about we need all these DAs and AGs to go out and start arresting people and prosecuting Democrat officials and all that stuff. That is part of a controlled opposition dynamic that suggests that all of this is legitimate. On the Rachel Maddows of the world, the CNNs, they are all talking about how important it is that that we don't allow anyone. Biden's tweet earlier, somebody pointed it out. Maybe it was you guys, maybe it was online, but they don't want anybody challenging the legitimacy of this decision. They want an implied punishment structure if you are the person challenging judicial legitimacy. And they're doing this right while they're also saying that Samuel Alito should recuse from SCOTUS decisions over flags his wife put up. So obvious hypocrisy there on their side. That's going to drive people crazy. And then on the other side, they're saying that we need to go after them. They're saying it's unfair how Trump's being treated, but they are still suggesting the legitimacy of the system. And they are still reaffirming that, just as they've done at every other point. They reaffirm the legitimacy of the Congress when they talk about how they're going to pass legislation to fix this or that. They reaffirm the legitimacy of our elections, blaming it on Trump and MAGA for the 2022 midterms, talking about how we shouldn't talk about election fraud, directing everything toward an election that we might not even have in 5 months. It's always about the preservation of the legitimacy, because that's the uniparty's apparatus and their system of control. That is what controlled opposition is for. And I hope that we play that Bannon clip at some point. I don't know if you grabbed that, John.
Yeah, I got it. Next, let's read this quick, Patrick. I think this might be what you're referring to. Trump questioning our election system and questioning our judicial system.
Donald Trump is questioning our democracy. First, Donald Trump is threatening our democracy. First, he questioned our election system. Then he questioned our judicial system. And now you can stop him.
It's just insane. You're not allowed to question the results of the election ever. And you're not allowed to question the rulings of the judicial system. This is totally an exposure op of our judicial system. But here's that Bannon clip that you had asked me to play.
A lot of this is information warfare. A lot of this is psyops, and a lot of it is to regenerate the strength of the controlled opposition.
Regenerate the strength of the controlled opposition is what he said there at the end. I don't know if it played all the way through, but yeah, that's exactly what was happening. That's what we're seeing with these ops. It's a dark day. What we need to do is get DAs and AGs to go out and chase down the Democrats. Oh, it's the Democrats. It's not the illegitimate system. It's not the uniparty. What we need to do is focus on the Democrats. Megyn Kelly out there, like with her new hair and face and eyebrows, talking about how it's a wolf with a bloody mouth. Like, who wrote this shit for you? There
Definitely
you go.
didn't come to that thought herself. We should listen to her monologue almost. It's ridiculous.
It's like 45 seconds. It's hilarious.
Wait, she's got some new bullshit to say?
I mean,
it was like Friday morning thing.
All she ever says, but
thing. Yeah.
I think it's this. Well, it's a little longer than.
This is where I go for my news.
There's a short one too, by the way. There's a shorter one.
How long is it? Oh, yeah, too long.
See,
short one.
See what happens.
No. I'm worried about Twitter, man. I'm worried about Twitter because sometimes the porn bots, man, you gotta be careful what you search.
Stop searching things like short one. No one would ever label it that.
This is the one that keeps coming up. So
whatever.
She's so skinny now.
Is corrupt. It's a before and after moment for America. What just happened today is a line we can't uncross. And these Democrats will rue the day they decided to use lawfare to stop a presidential candidate. I'm not talking about violence. I'm talking about tit for tat. You just wait, and it won't be Hunter Biden the next time. It's going to be Joe Biden. It could potentially still be Barack Obama. It could still potentially be Hillary Clinton. We're going to have to look at what the statutes of limitations are on the various crimes they surely committed. We're going to have to look at passing laws to revive those dead crimes, felonies or misdemeanors, so that those cases can be brought out of time. That's what may be in the interest of justice, just like they did for E. Jean Carroll with a New York State law that was passed so that she could sue him. That's what happened. Turnabout is fair play. And John Yoo, an amazing lawyer who worked in the Bush administration, Department of Justice, has a great piece out today talking about how that's the only way they'll learn. The only way to save the republic now is to give them a taste of their own medicine. That's it.
Enough.
That's it. They tasted blood today. They're the wolves with the bloody piece of meat in their mouths. That doesn't stop the wolf from coming back for more. The only thing that will stop him is if he loses a limb of his own. And I'm sorry, but the Democrats started this game in the same way the Republicans upped the ante when it came to, for example, the filibuster fight. The Democrats got rid of it for lower court judges. Mitch McConnell said, you will rue the day because we're going to be in control of this chamber one day and you're going to.
I'm ruining the day I decided to play that clip.
Yeah.
My bad, guys.
So,
But holy shit.
Number one, whatever she's taking, I want some because check out that jawline. Way to go, Megan. But
don't you have something at Epic Minerals for that, man? Epic Jaw
meth.
or something?
No, I don't have the special clear glass that Walter White makes that makes you have the nice jawline. I had to stop doing that. I kept getting arrested. But anyway, this crap. Somebody said it in the chat. It looks so fucking inauthentic. This is the slag who made us sit through a softball interview with James fucking Alefantis. You know, the Comet Ping Pong guy, the restaurateur and bon vivant, for some reason listed in GQ as one of Washington's top 50 most powerful humans. She did the softball interview with him. You don't go from that to being a truth teller. So what I want to know is, what's her angle? How is she trying to fuck us? And I'm not all the way there yet. I think she's just trying to carve out some territory that Tucker Carlson left for her. I don't understand fully what she's up to, but it can't be real.
Let's think about this for a second. So there's this narrative being pushed that we need to be going after the left, which I do agree it should happen, but not till Trump is back in office. I don't think it needs to happen now. Yeah. But the narrative is being pushed that we need to do it right now. So there's two sources of this narrative. There's either this is something that the Devo team, Q team, or whatever that Trump actually wants, not just one that they can capitalize on, but one that they want and are actually seeding, or it's coming from other sources like the enemy, control opposition. And so who is this narrative coming from, and why? I don't see any benefit to trying to push your local DAs or politicians or anything to persecuting anybody at this point right now, when Trump is only benefiting from being the political prisoner. That's what he is. This is helping Trump. Why would we give that to them and take that away from Trump?
And who are going to be the trusted people to take that task on? I mean, are there a couple AGs? Ken Paxton?
But with our election system the way it is, can we trust any of these people?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. I mean, I don't even believe any of them have the legitimacy to be able to do that and have it hold up in a year or 2 years from now. And this is ultimately all going to be settled in the court of public opinion. We hope that Rico Grande is a real thing. I don't believe that we need to be trying to send people out to make headlines over this stuff. Look like they're very butch Republicans. They should all be the favored candidates of MAGA at that point. Man.
Yeah.
That
is what's going to happen.
My big litmus test is, did she simp for DeSantis? And I don't remember.
Yeah, I would say yes.
Okay.
And she's also spun the line over the last few years that the elections were stolen legally. You see, the left just had their lawfare apparatus in place. There is no definitive proof that anything was stolen. They put these laws in place. They did the right things at the court. And because, that's where the chess match really is. It's really in the courts. And she's a lawyer, so she knows. And they won at that part of the game. So therefore, they won the election.
Is she a lawyer?
Yeah.
Yes. All these media figures always say they're lawyers.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a lawyer too, guys.
You know,
I'm a convicted felon.
They have the opinion.
Are you?
No.
I know.
But yes, we're all Spartacus now.
Yes.
We're all I do want to play this video Jess sent over, Jessica. And she says it's pretty good and it looks pretty good. I just want to see it. We'll see. If it's not, we'll stop it. But
in the crooked Joe Biden injustice system, political opponents are accused of fake crimes and unconstitutionally prevented from adequately defending their innocence. These are their bullshit stories.
Day in America, a former president of the United States, now a convicted felon.
Convicted of felony crimes.
Guilty on all counts.
That is 34 felony counts here, all guilty verdicts. Donald Trump has been.
hold on, did you see that?
Yeah.
Guilty, not guilty?
Yeah.
Is that what you were referring to earlier? The
I didn't
34 to
mention
0?
this. Well, not this in particular, but yeah, that's how I was just talking about the thought process. But this thing is hilarious.
That's insane.
They did a countdown or a count up, I guess, for how long the jury was deliberating on CNN. They were like had it going up minute by minute.
He is so guilty that he is not guilty 0 times.
They put the 34 on there twice.
Insane. Sorry, I'll keep playing.
The verdict. Donald Trump has been found guilty on all counts.
So why does this man appear to be celebrating outside the courthouse? Because he knows something these shit-brained morons will never figure out. They just handed him a 2024 election victory. This might be the biggest legal and political backfire in the annals of American history. They made the most powerful man on earth a sympathetic, relatable man to anyone who's ever been shafted by a corrupted legal system. They made a martyr out of their enemy and showed how willing they are to burn the country down in order to stop Donald Trump. Within the first 6 hours of the guilty verdict, he received a 6-point bump in the polls and a record-breaking $34.8 million in small donations. Within 24 hours, that number jumped to 52.8 million. This is only the beginning of the boomerang effect. It's not going how they thought it would, and that's just too fucking bad. Buckle the fuck up, Donald Trump is coming for all that ass.
But every mean team can be dangerous. Do you think your mean team can defeat me?
That's pretty damn good.
Oh, good. Daily Meme Team bringing the fire as always.
They do a good job. I don't understand how they didn't see this coming. Like this, it was so obvious to anybody paying remote amounts of attention that this was going to be the effect of doing this. If they did it anyway, it has to be almost forced, right? Like it has to be controlled in a way. The Judas goats or whatever. It just seems so stupid of the left to actually find him guilty and go through with this.
Every time I think about that, I'm totally on board with everything you're saying. And every time I think about that, I also think these people are basically in an existential crisis and are willing to do absolutely anything. So maybe they think that there's some way they're going to be able to.
That's my thought.
Pull it off.
We're going to see Congress make a push to pass a law that if you have been convicted of any felonies,
of course,
you can't be you can't be a president. That's what we're going to see. We're going to see something stupid like that. Or we're going to see some state legislatures doing it. It's going to get challenged to the Supreme Court, all this shit, whatever. But that's going to be their move. They're going to try to use this and this guilty verdict as the impetus to prevent him from being electable. And that's going to be what's next. Has to be.
And it would be nice if they try to pull some unconstitutional shit like that. If the Supreme Court recognizes the importance of such a thing, and instead of acting like a bunch of stuck-up little mean girls and making us wait 9 months or whatever, just drop what they're friggin' doing and rule on whether or not the freaking legislature is allowed to change the terms by which a person is allowed to become president.
Oh man, I wish I could find. It might take me a couple of minutes to find it, but in that, remember when Colorado took Trump off the ballot, or tried to, their Secretary of State, and then it got challenged to the Supreme Court. They came out with a ruling. Within that ruling, they basically said something along the lines of, Congress or whatever, trying to enact some sort of rules to prevent somebody or to take the will of the people away from them or something would be unacceptable. Like they pretty much said something like that in that ruling. I'm not even going to bother. It's going to take me too long to find it, but
I'm fairly certain that what they said was that the Congress would be the proper body to do it. And so the thought was then they would try to secure a majority, a uniparty majority after the election, and then Congress would vote to declare Donald Trump ineligible to serve due to insurrection.
Okay, here I found it. I think. I guess
because
it'll
of a
take me
clause in
nearly
the
that long.
14th Amendment.
Yes.
Let me just pull it up on the screen here, and Patrick, I'll have you read the end part of this. Okay, read from after the 795 number.
An evolving electoral map could dramatically change the behavior of voters, parties, and states across the country in different ways and at different times. The disruption would be all the more acute and could nullify the votes of millions and change the election result if Section 3 enforcement were attempted after the nation has voted. Nothing in the Constitution requires that we endure such chaos, arriving at any time or different times up to and perhaps beyond the inauguration.
It was that line from them that kind of gave me the vibe that they're not going to put up with any bullshit, like obvious bullshit, to try to remove a presidential candidate from the ticket or from being elected if the Democrats try to pull some bullshit like that. You know what I mean?
I think that this is only referring to state actors in individual states
could
barring candidates from their individual state's ballot, which could then sow the sort of chaos where Trump would be removed in Maine and Colorado, and then Republican AGs in various states would do their own action, removing Biden from Wisconsin or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yep.
That was what was being addressed specifically there.
For sure. And I do anticipate we see at least one state try to do something with this. I mean, they already tried to take Trump off the ballot when he was just he was indicted. Now that he's actually convicted, I'm sure they're going to try the same thing somewhere. But if Congress does it, what if they actually go through it? What if Congress comes out and puts a bill through? I mean, our majority is so damn slim right now. Like if there was ever a Republican that was in there as a Judas goat to take a turn and turn on Trump, this would be their time to do it, right? When it would actually remove him from the ballot.
Can't do that. He's on ballots in the states. The state legislatures determine who gets on the ballot. The United States Congress has exactly zero legitimate authority to do diddly squat about any one of those ballots. So if they did, you would need immediate intervention from the Supreme Court and say, what part of in the manner of the legislature thereof do you not understand?
But Patrick.
Yes.
They haven't had any authority to do anything these last few years.
And then there is that. There is that. Yeah. You know what they could do? Joe Biden could scrawl a decree on the wall of the White House in his own poop. And he could say, no more Trump. He could genuinely do it.
That'd be funny. By the way, guys, we have over 16,000 watching on Rumble. We have 1,000 between Twitter and YouTube. If you guys wouldn't mind hitting that thumbs up, we would greatly appreciate it. In fact, if you don't
for likes at all,
if you don't hit that thumbs up, you are in fact not black. So
not black.
Please hit that thumbs up for us if you would.
Trump is black.
Yeah, the hard R black. I can't believe that.
Anyway. I'm gonna have to go back and check out the Hodge twins again.
I used to watch them for a little bit too. I don't remember when it was though. I was watching a whole smorgasbord of influencers back before the Devolution stuff started, but I know I watched them for a stretch. They're pretty funny. I think it was before they got were they in like fitness stuff before they got political?
Oh yeah.
Okay, maybe that's what it was.
And they're twins. Like you can't tell them. I mean, they're hard to tell apart because they're identical twins.
And I got that from the name Hodge twins too.
Yeah. Thank you. Appreciate that. Anyway, they talked about lifting weights, and I got it hardcore into weightlifting starting in 2017. I literally did not have a single day that I did not go to the gym from like 2017 to 2019. No days off.
Wow.
That was dedication.
Good for you. What happened then?
I skipped a fuck ton.
I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Oh man. What time is it? Is there anything else you guys want to talk about? We haven't gotten to the boosts yet. we haven't gotten to Patrick's epic minerals spot yet, and I haven't gotten the opportunity to go pee yet, and so maybe we should do a few of those things like right now.
Yeah, go pee, and I will talk to them about something that I really want to announce anyway. So,
Okay.
do your thing, my friend. I even have the overlay. This is called the C collection. Guys, we are having a change of season, and a change of season is when your body gets sick. And what do you do when you're getting sick? Well, you better have a whole bunch of vitamin C in your system. That's why at epicminerals.net, we are releasing the C collection. We are adding sweet orange essential oil to the body butter. We are having a whole shipment of vitamin C infused hand soaps coming in, vitamin C serum for the face and body. And finally, and last but not least, the wonderful artisan soap infused with sweet orange essential oil. All of it puts vitamin C directly into your system. Get 3 of these amazing health-inducing items. You get 5% off. You use promo code Badlands, you get an additional 10% off. Supplies are limited. Get your sweet orange collection today at epicminerals.net. Get your vitamin C, guys. Oh, look. Let's check out some super chats. Starting off with Gem for Me, $5. Hi, John. I want to set up a meet with fellow Badlanders in New Jersey. How can I go about doing that? Well,
what happened to Chris?
Chris is there. They both of y'all left me, free to run my mouth on the screen all alone for my spot, which was very, very nice of you. Chris is right here.
Chris, how's it go? Okay, from that Rumble rant about doing the meetup, just do your thing. Schedule it. There's no process. None of those meetups are official Badlands meetups. And that is just in case any of you guys do any domestic terrorism or something. Yep. So we do not endorse or support those in any way. They're not affiliated, but just do your thing. Start posting about in the chat, get a group together and have some fun.
$10 Patriot Memes, $45. And that is a nice link to Real Alex Jones on Twitter. Eddie Bravo mentioned Devolution. Go to $13.25.
Nice.
Great.
What?
Thank you thank you for the unpaid research, and then chucking us a tip to thank you. Awesome.
Hold on. I got to see this.
Yeah,
$13.25.
Yep.
We will cover this, but
that is literally Dave Weiss.
I think this is all part of the awakening process. This is how you awaken society. If it takes 16 years to indoctrinate a society, ideological subversion, all that shit that Yuri Bezmenov was talking about. If it takes 16 years, it's got to take a bunch of years to deprogram people. And I think
sure. So okay, so let's.
I'm a Devolution fan. I'm a believer.
So let's get the preface, both of you. 5.
My boy, nice.
Hell yeah.
That's
Eddie
a real
Bravo.
one right there.
Get me on Joe Rogan, Eddie. Let's go. Okay, sorry for yelling. Go ahead.
That is fantastic. And that, by the way, that was Dave Weiss on InfoWars.
Wait, right here?
Yeah, the other guy.
Dave Weiss and Eddie Bravo?
That's Dave Weiss, the flat earther.
Oh, I was thinking of a different Dave Weiss.
Oh, no, not the prosecutor. The flat earther. The one who is like the flat earth. He's flat earth Dave. Anyway,
Patrick, you're the only prominent flat earther I know. I don't follow any others, so
that's right. I keep forgetting. Anyway, next $20 to Kira. Hi guys, thank you to Badlands for keeping us level-headed in these crazy times. You give us a lot of ways to see the world that don't include freaking out. Thank you. $10 Data 12. Badlands pays attention. Thank you.
Try. Thank you.
$5 Wedged Gravy. If this were anyone other than Trump, I would be concerned. But if it were anybody other than Trump, you'd be concerned for their fate. But, if it's Trump, yeah, I get what you're saying. And Wild Boar 17 just became a monthly supporter. Thank you so much. $5 Wild Boar 17.
Whoa.
What?
Wild Boar has been giving a shit in the chat for like almost 2 years, and he just now became a monthly supporter.
I know, right?
That's some bullshit right there, Wild Boar. I don't know what that's about, but that's some bullshit.
Maybe
thank
he
you.
was a supporter and then became not a supporter. Now he's a supporter again.
Maybe Rumble may have unsubscribed him. So if that's the case, then I apologize. But it seems like a Wild Boar thing to do, to not be a month supporter and give a shit. Anyway, thank you, Wild Boar.
$5, Wild Boar 17. Again, Trump had no underlying election campaign finance charge, indictment, or conviction from the FEC. But I know another New York politician who did pay a fine as the sentence for committing a crime to FEC. Why, Wild Boar, whoever could you mean?
Skip
Hillary.
up 2 rants.
Yeah, Hillary. Anyway, $5, Brian E. Murphy, the New York Times story about the juror who got his news from X and Truth Social. Seems like a nothing burger story. Was it a foreshadow to a future op where it is revealed that he was intimidated/threatened? I would go so far as to say that the entire story about the news sources of the jurors was made up out of whole cloth by CIA journalists, quote unquote.
Yeah.
$5, Wild Boar 17, for misclassifying expenses as legal expenses back in 2016 election of New York. And that was Hillary Clinton. Boomerang Trump card. Thank you very much.
Quick question about the juror things. Can anybody like go on there and say whatever they want to say? Does anybody actually verify any of that stuff? Like if somebody went on there on the New York trial and was just like, yeah, I'm on Truth Social, that's where I interact and get all my news. Are they going to verify that, or do they just take you at face value what you say? Like, can you get in trouble for lying on your information as a juror?
Absolutely not.
Okay. Well then, yeah, then it was definitely 100% made up.
For sure.
Yeah.
That's the key. If you don't go into every single news story saying, all right, is there any evidence whatsoever that this wasn't made up by a dude in his underwear at 2 a.m? And the answer is always no.
Okay. Speaking of that, I think this is a story that I do think is real, but I want your guys' opinion on it. I covered it last week. Hold on. I got to find it. Okay. Keep reading the rants. I'll find it and pull it up.
You bet. Next, $5, Thomas Time 76. Hey, Chris, I uploaded a second version of the Hindsight 2020 intro video. I added the actual title card to it. Thank you so much for that. That sounds awesome, Thomas Times. And thank you for the super chat. $50, Stay Mac. Saving our country and the world takes a while. It's messy business. What happened to our forefathers now is upon us. Thank you very much for the generous super chats. And that one in particular, Stay Mac. $5, Covert 23. John, will Badlands shop be selling music that we make? I would sell my music if you did. Just a thought. How do you sell music? I don't know.
I think
can you sell like physical CDs? Is that a thing?
I don't think that's a thing. Maybe just like, can you put a thing up there and advertise Patriot made music? I think might be what he's asking.
I don't know. Send an email to ads.badlandsmedia@proton.me.
Mm-hmm. Next,
well,
and thank you for the super chat, by the way.
I found the story real quick. Patrick, read this.
Okay. Read. There it is. From Zero Hedge, Kim Jong-un sends hundreds of shit-filled balloons into South Korea. Yeah, I covered this one too. North Korea is literally sending shit balloons across the border into South Korea.
What's your take on this? I just want your off the cuff. Do you think it's real?
I'm sure there's balloons in the air in Korea at some point. I don't know. Maybe.
Well, that was a wildly disappointing reaction.
I don't know what to tell you, dude. I want it to be true. The thought of Little Rocket Man sending shit balloons over the border to the clown world president of South Korea. That sounds
we were talking
badass.
about Wednesday. We were talking about Wednesday. It's like these are the people that they were telling us were going to nuke the world.
Yes.
If Trump took office, but instead they're just like, yeah, we're going to send you guys a bunch of shit over balloons. Just kind of funny.
They were supposed to be launching a very dangerous spy satellite just the day before. And South Korea and other allies were like flying around there. They were worried that it got messed up somehow. Their little rocket blew up in the sky. And because they were mad about South Korea's planes, they sent shit circles over.
No way.
That's the story.
They threw a tantrum with shit balloons.
Yep.
Yeah. So I think
my
the
God.
story goes like this: South Korea sends clown world propaganda using balloons.
That's right.
And they do it on the regular, and the North Koreans decided just to send them poop.
That's so funny.
I think it's base as hell if it's true.
Oh,
I love the story.
Okay. Anyway, continue.
Absolutely. Next, $20. Truth prevails. 017. General Flynn on X Spaces suggested we may not even have an election.
I think
have that very much on my bingo card.
I think they are where we're at right now. They have seeded multiple narratives, like multiple, and one of those narratives is like the Ukraine route, where we cannot have an election until everybody can vote or whatever, like whatever Blinken said. That is a definite possibility. I think that's what the whole Ukraine situation, postponing the elections, has been about, seeing that narrative. So wouldn't be surprised.
Postponing elections. Man, Zelensky did it.
Yep.
$50.
Well, Blinken did it, but yeah.
Nice. JH 6006. Just because I haven't been on here while y'all were live lately. That's for the reason for the very generous $50 super chat. Everything is fake and gay. Also, you spelled gay correctly. Thank you very much. Every time somebody spells it G-H-E-Y, I die a little inside.
Yeah.
Also, they forgot
especially
about
during Pride Month.
Yeah.
You should be proud of saying G-A-Y.
It's true.
Just like the Pope is proud of saying faggotry.
Did he say faggotry?
In Italian.
In Italian.
How do you say it in Italian? I'm curious.
Okay,
Faggotry?
well, let's get it. I think it's fagiaccione.
No, that's not exactly it. I asked ChatGPT earlier, what is the Italian word for faggotry? Hang on.
That was too good.
And I'll pronounce it right. I promise. And the answer from ChatGPT is, our systems have detected unusual activity coming from your system. Please try again later.
Here's an article about it that is actually surprisingly funny. At least the paragraph my eyes went to was.
Share your screen.
It's well worth it.
Oh, you're going to send it?
I sent it to you. Yeah. I'm still looking for other things.
So anyway, okay, so ChatGPT refuses.
Okay. And by the way, in that Rumble rant, you said, because you haven't been on here in a while, and so you gave us a very generous Rumble rant. I want to say, if you don't watch us live, but you still want to support the show and have us read your comment on air, you can give us a Badlands boost, which we will read here after these Rumble rants by going to badlandsmedia.tv/support. Leave us a boost, and we'll read it on air here shortly.
The word he said was frociagine.
And that means faggotry?
Frociagine. G-I-N-E?
G-G-I-N-E, yeah.
Oh, is it a hard G? We've already had the hard R.
The two G's would be the hard G.
Okay.
Yeah, read this right here, Patrick.
Italian media on Monday had quoted unnamed Italian bishops in reporting that Francis jokingly used the term faggotness. While speaking in Italian during the encounter, he had used the term in reaffirming the Vatican's ban on allowing gay men to enter seminaries and be ordained priests. It's not the only thing they're allowing them to enter.
So happy Pride Month, Catholics.
Indeed.
Didn't he just like condemn us like closing our border from like behind a walled city at the Vatican? I'm pretty sure that just happened.
I don't pay any attention to friggin' Pope commie scumbag the umpteenth.
Okay. Well,
even I'm a Catholic, so I'm kind of conflicted.
Yeah. Whatever. Let's keep going.
All right. Okay. Next, $5. Wild Boar 17. Remember the good old days when they were just trying to impeach President Trump, and then the second time, and then raiding Mar-a-Lago? Oh, the good old days. Thank you. Oh, very generous. $100. Ash 75. Nelly. John's research saved me. Chris Paul's laugh makes my day. And Patrick's shirt is the best thing since sliced bread. Thanks for everything you do. And thank you, Badlanders, for being a great community. That's the best super chat ever. Thank you for the compliment on my shirt and all that other stuff you said about those other guys, too. $5. Valseco16, what does Patrick mean by acting judge? Does he mean central casting or temporary judge filling in? Beginning of the show, he said he's an acting judge. Yeah, I read that on voxday.net. And yes. I don't know the exact meaning of acting judge, but I'm sure somebody will track it down.
I'll get it for you.
Yes, and I am a lesbian cancer patient in that photo.
So somebody's making fun of your shirt. So I had to.
I've got another dance event coming up on June 7th, and hopefully you'll get a video of me doing the tango.
Dude, I don't know what you're doing. Why are you not doing these live? Like live stream these to your channel.
Really? Live streaming on a phone is hard. We'll figure it
out. I would do it anyway.
You think?
We'll send a production crew. We'll send Chris. Our AV Chris down. On my dime, I'll pay to live stream that.
Whoa, dude.
Maybe not. We'll see. But that would be so funny. Like,
just put it on Badlands, and I'll take care of it. As long as I can schlep my supplements.
Do it, bro.
All
you
right.
can dance like this as long as you take Epic Minerals.
I love it. Next, $20, Crystal Anon. Last Why We Vote had an amazing guest for the money laundering proof. Damn. I don't know who you're talking about because I missed that episode. But
Peter Berniger was the guest yesterday.
Gotcha.
They've had some great guests lately, and they've got some good ones lined up too. It's a great show to watch Fridays.
Very.
Ash, what time Fridays?
5. It's 5 p.m. Central, isn't it?
I don't remember. Ash will put it in the chat.
Guys,
4 p.m. Central, 5 p.m. Eastern, I think.
So that Wikipedia link I put up with Juan Merchan there has it says it in the introductory paragraph to his Wikipedia entry, and then discusses it more under the career as judge heading.
Career as prosecutor and then career as judge. Merchan became a judge in 2006 when New York City Mayor Michael Bloomberg appointed him to the New York City Family Court, Bronx County. He remained in that role until 2009. Chief Administrative Judge Ann Pfau appointed Merchan as acting justice in the Supreme Court of New York County Criminal in 2009, and he has been in that position since that time. Merchan presides over felony criminal trials. Merchan has also previously served concurrently as a judge of the New York Court of Claims, being appointed to that role by Governor David Patterson in 2009 and serving until 2018. So he's an acting justice.
Crazy.
There we
go.
This
is what he's famous for.
For 15 years in the acting role.
That's really strange.
Well, yes and no. I mean, consider the unusual status of one Jack Smith, right? He was sent over to be to work at The Hague, and he's not legitimately appointed as a special counsel. So we have these problems in all of these cases. The same sorts of problems are in all of the indictments. When you have problems of a certain variety and that becomes a pattern, that should indicate, hey, maybe there's something wrong with this. Maybe it's not real.
That's an interesting way to put that.
All of these are like a novel legal theory.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
They're all testing the 14th Amendment of the Constitution, which was not properly ratified. It's not a mistake.
Wow.
Interesting. The right time is 7:30. Why We Vote is on at 7:30. Patrick royally fucked that up.
Eastern time, 7:30 Eastern. Maybe I mixed it up with Culture of Change. I don't know.
Possibly.
My bad.
Oh, by the way, I've been doing this Devolution recap series. I'm probably going to do part 3 tomorrow sometime. I'll announce in the morning, but make sure you guys are following over on Locals, because I'll do the local stream first. And then a few days later, I will post the Devolution part, just the recap to Rumble. But at the end of each episode, I've been doing a little Q&A with the audience on Locals. So that part does not go to Rumble. So if you want to tune in for that, make sure you guys are over there following on Locals. Part 3 is a good part of the series. So make sure you guys check that out.
Dude, I cannot wait to start feeding these things into ChatGPT's latest edition.
I know, I'm gonna do that probably tomorrow too. So
$5, Sammy the Squirrel. I think they will now try public shaming by ordering Trump to do public service, cleaning up trash and graffiti. The mainstream media and photographers will be there to document every second with big smiles. Ah, gosh, what a reality show this is. Thank you for the super chat, Sammy.
Patrick, I just had a good idea. Tomorrow on Locals, I'll text you, but you should come on with me at the end, and we should do that. We should feed the first few articles into ChatGPT and see like what questions we can get from it. I think that'd be kind of fun.
That will be a lot of fun. ChatGPT is getting smarter in big ways. It's kind of scary, actually. $5, Wild Boar 17. Remember Biden denied JFK Jr. Secret Service coverage when his dad literally was assassinated while campaigning, but Biden gives Trump a bigger Secret Service entourage, bigger than his own. Devo proof? Yeah, there's a lot of weirdness with that.
I don't think Biden gave him anything. I think Trump gave himself.
Oh, that 6 of 1.
Yeah.
Same concept.
Yep. Well, yeah.
$5. The Prue. How about that chick that donated $100 million? Miriam Adelson.
I hear they don't like being referred to as chicks.
Adelson. I don't know how it is that you're allowed to give $100 million.
Taxes on that got to be insane.
I
did not know about that, though.
It is just, it's great. I'm glad Donald Trump got so much money and all that stuff. But if you're able to donate $100 million to a political candidate, that political candidate is not really, that's corrupting levels of money. What's going on there? Who is this person?
Billionaire.
It's Sheldon Adelson's wife.
Yeah. I don't know how I feel about him either, but whatever.
Well, yeah.
He's funding a super PAC. 90
these
million.
Super PACs, you know what? We just need to make these super PACs completely illegal.
Yeah.
Well, that's the sort of thing that this is calling attention to.
Yeah, that's for sure. It is nuts, though. $100 million.
Whoa. Did Mark Cuban sell the Mavericks?
Oh, wow. I did not know that. She has a majority stake. Then she has to have.
I mean, I fucking hate Mark Cuban, but
unless Mark Cuban is related to her somehow, I don't know.
I'll look that up. You keep going.
Yeah.
He sold 73% of the Dallas Mavericks to the Adelson and Dumont families on December 27th, 2023.
Okay.
The sale has been in the works for, almost a year.
That's crazy. I had no idea. I love him on Twitter because he's super like pushing the DEI hiring stuff, right? Like, you gotta hire blacks, gotta hire Asians, all these other people. But then he has literally had the whitest NBA team for the past like 20 years.
I didn't know that.
In a majority black league, he's had the whitest NBA team.
Like whiter than the 1986 Boston Celtics white?
Probably.
Equally white.
Yeah. Like
okay.
Yeah, like Steve Nash, Dirk Nowitzki, Luka Doncic.
Yep.
Good for them. Go Whitey. It's nice to see some white basketball players once in a while. All right.
Yeah, but it's just funny coming from him when he's pushing all the DEI stuff on Twitter. He's super super liberal.
Funny too, yeah. Dirk Nowitzki has to have retired by now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is he even alive still?
wait. That he's fine, right? Okay, good.
I have no idea.
All right. Anyway, $10, Jason of TGA. The "it had to happen this way" posts ×2 clarify in retrospect why we were prepared for this. Well put, Jason. Thank you for the super chat. $17, Deb1776. It had to be this way. Thank you. $22, Blue7I. Hope I meet these people at Deadwood. John, Patrick, Chris, Burning Bright, Mrs. Burning Bright, JH.
Just human.
Thank you. The Eye of the Storm dudes, Donald Trump himself. That'd be nice. And many others. JH also means John Harold to me. That's why I was confused.
I get it.
And thank you very much for the super chat. $2. Osolomeo, Praying Medic, was on Mary Grace Media today and provided a great understanding of the Trump situation. You should have him on as a guest. Thanks for all you do. Yeah, I think we should probably have Burning Bright interview him. Thank you very much for the super chat. Big fan. Anyway, $5. Jason of TGA. Correction. It had to be this way. Yes. And also at one point, Q said it had to be done this way. I do remember that as well in one of his very, very late posts. $10. JBA 512. Might be of interest that the UFC is at the Prudential Center. Prudential is to do with finance. Very true. Very true. $50. Thank you very much. Doctor in name only. I don't see people dooming. I'm seeing the majority of people previously indifferent or quiet who are now pissed. The sleeping USA bear is now fully awake. God, I hate saying this, but I hope you're right. That was one of Thomas Wichter's pet peeves when people say, I hope you're right. But I really hope you're right. And by the way, any evidence of that stuff, send to me at pgunnels@gmail.com. I love on the ground reporting a lot from real people who aren't like paid liars. Thank you so much for the super chat. $17, Freedom 17. I will only worry if the obvious comms to the Q board stop. Oh, yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, me too. $5, Trump woman. Please confirm that Trump is not CNC. I grokked it. Okay, so she's asking Grok, the Twitter AI, the question. Please confirm that Trump is not CNC. I grokked it and it said no. Biden is because the CNC is the president. That sounds like the central narrative.
Well,
for
number
me.
one, Grok, an AI which bases this information from Twitter and other like whatever, the internet, probably isn't going to say that Trump, like they're not going to give you the answer you're looking for. But number one, I don't think or me personally, I don't believe that Trump is commander in chief. I think he devolved his authority. I think he's more of an advisor. But there are other people who wear cowboy hats and cowboy boots and sound really stupid that push their own thing who do say he's commander in chief. And I personally do not believe that to be true. But none of us have the full scope or answers to anything that is actually going on behind the scenes. Like nobody knows for sure.
He does keep saying that he's in his third term as president, though. Joe Biden actually even said it the other day, too.
Yeah. He's saying he's in his second term. It's going to be his third term.
Fair. Sorry.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I do not believe he's president or commander in chief. I believe he, by definition, devolved that authority. And I think, yeah. Anyway.
To the National Continuity Council. $5, the Prue. Everyone who has been effed by the system can now relate to Trump and hopefully now support him. Thank you so much. $20, weren't lucky. Great show. So much for free speech. Why did Patrick block me on X? I don't recall hurting his feelings at Bricktoe on X. Well, you know me, I'm a fickle bastard. $10, Jason of TGA. I quickly polled chat and sentiment seems to be we were surprisingly well prepared for this. Whatever comes next, bring it on. Thank you very much, Jason of TGA. $5, real JJ14. It was Kyle Just Human that said it was irresponsible to talk like that when he said Trump would never be indicted. Irresponsible to talk like what?
I think maybe that's in regard to the comment I made earlier about the thing at GART, where I was making fun of how indicted he was.
So indicted. Funny stuff. $5, Jason of TGA. Patrick, spotting the bots and retards. Much of a muchness. Spot the Mexican cartel troll plants, you get a gold star. I have racked up 3 gold stars via Bannon, RSBN, and Grasshopper chats now.
What do you turn those in for?
I know, right? Thank you very much, Jason. $1, Angie K. Wrong. Tim ran it in full on Rumble. You want him to have to lay off his entire crew?
Yeah. No, I want him to tell the truth.
And
not turn on Trump. Not say that the election in 2020 was legitimate. Fuck Tim Pool.
Yeah, Tim Pool's a bitch.
A bald bitch. No offense to bald people, Patrick.
Steve Deace, who was one of the biggest Trump-hating desantards, is a host on The Blaze and made the exact same justification for lying about election fraud in the post-election period. Basically, just one day says, sorry, guys, I know what the truth is, but I'm going to have to lie to everybody now. And I'm doing it for all of these people here. Such bullshit, man. Like that lie in particular, especially about the election. What would our world be like if we told the truth about things that mattered?
Yeah.
Especially when they happen. Like exactly. if Tim Pool and all these people said, "Fuck it, I'm gonna tell the truth about the election fraud now,"
Yep,
it's
come on, man.
possible. It's possible we never would have gotten to this situation.
Exactly. And it's like, I have to protect these 10 people's jobs here. I'm going to say that despite the fact that I can just port my show from the Blaze to another platform or from YouTube to another platform and make plenty of money to keep everyone employed. Despite that, I'm going to blame my cowardice on all of these other people. They're going to be the human shields for my cowardice.
Would you guys like me to stop Patrick from making fun of the Pope for saying Fegadroni or whatever, just so that we can stay on YouTube and shit? Like, we could do that too, just to make money. Does that make us cool? Should we all start wearing beanies and just like make you guys feel good instead of telling the truth?
We need
the money.
We need to protect the liars and continue incentivizing the liars, because what we want is a world where people only lie all the time.
And what happens in 2024 when they try to steal this damn election from Trump again? And Tim Pool's like, well, I guess Biden won.
You know what they're going to do? You know what they're going to do is they're going to say, yeah, you know, I agree that this time things look really, really shady. But what we have to do is just be responsible and let the system work. We got to allow the system to do what the system does.
There's no constitutional remedy, guys.
I remember when fat ass Jenna Ellis said that. That's when I knew. That's when I knew she worked for the enemy, or she was an agent going over to the enemy side. One or the other.
I might hate her more than anybody else. I went through a Twitter timeline the other day, and it's all like retweets of people saying, "We should have had DeSantis. Now's a great time to switch to DeSantis." And Jesus, fucking Jenna Ellis. Fat bitch. Okay, let's move on from Tim Pool and Jenna Ellis and shit. I'm gonna have a hernia.
$2. Watch the last 20 minutes on Rumble for the show he posted. I will watch that with bells on, Angie. Thank you so much.
Good for him. Good for him.
Good for you. $10, Jason of PGA.
Is that Christian Bale?
That is Christian Bale. Do they give celebrity status to rodeo clowns normally? I don't know. I just don't know. Thank you so much.
What are they talking about?
I don't know. I was hoping one of y'all did.
Probably Tim Pool.
Oh, yeah, baby. $15, 1027JS. Good show. Thanks. Thank you, 1027JS. $50, Dragonfly Sister. Patience, people, aka revenge, is a dish that is best served cold. Star Trek. Khan. Also a Klingon proverb, if you take it from Quentin Tarantino. Seems to fit with the current situation. I'm in for the long haul and glorious finish.
Did that quote originate from Star Trek?
No, it did not.
Okay.
No, it did not.
I just want to make sure.
But it is nice to hear Khan say, and after he finished, he said, "It is very cold in space."
It's so funny that you're like super into like Star Trek and shit. Considering.
Dude, it's freaking awesome. And space is still fake, but it doesn't change how awesome the Wrath of Khan is. Which I will watch over and over again through the rest of my life, and I will cry like a little bitch every time. $20, commies kill puppies. My Jimmy's Russell, every time I think about the moment the communists realized all they did was make Trump more money and more iconic. Yeah, the money-raising aspect of this is very large.
Oh, good for you. And how was it?
Perfect.
$5, Jason of TGA. 34 is also twice 17. Those people are stupid, or it's a com. Thank you very much, Jason. $5, CanCon. Go Cats, New York. What about Taco Bell? It's nice to hear from you, though, CanCon.
You might have went to the game.
Oh, really? What game?
I think he went. I think he said he was going to the game tonight.
Oh, like a football game?
The hockey game. Football is not in season. But
how the fuck should I know? Okay. Anyway.
You're busy,
$5.
you're too busy dancing to follow the sports seasons.
Too busy just doing all of these very non-masculine things, apparently. $5, Wild Boar 17. Orange is the new black.
Well, I
Very
like
good
that.
point. We played a clip of Orange is the New Black on the most recent episode of Hindsight 2020, where they pre-programmed George Floyd for us.
Which, by the way, you guys want to plug that show real quick?
Absolutely. Hindsight 2020 is picking up major steam. Chris Paul and I, Patrick Gunnels, talk about the year that changed everything, the year 2020. We go through that calendar week's stories, but back from 2020. With hindsight, we can see, well, what they're trying to do to our minds, and we might be able to figure out a little bit about what's going to happen in the future. So join us every Monday, and that's 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central, right here on Rumble on Badlands Media.
That was really well done, Patrick. John, it might be worth just playing this clip for 30 seconds because it is so mind-blowing that this was in 2016 on a fairly prominent television show among the demographic of people who sold the George Floyd op online. Just skip ahead like 30 seconds.
Bad.
Yeah, there you go. So the woman there on the ground.
What?
There you go. So that woman is under the police officer's knee and ends up being, I guess, asphyxiated in some way and dies.
And wait for her to die. She's going to die. Poussey is her name.
Spoiler
There
alert.
she-
Jesus.
Oh, there she goes. I can't breathe. Oh my gosh, he's got his hand.
This was
2016.
She died? I never got this far. I watched like the first season.
Good show, actually. And she's dead.
From his hand?
From his knee being on her back, because that makes sense. Yep, there she is. She's George Floydette.
George Floydette.
So yeah, that just kind of came to me. Oh, and Captain Janeway does the worst Russian accent I've ever heard in my life.
Do you want me to turn the volume back on?
You got the gist.
All right.
It's
Crazy.
good stuff. And
Oh, go ahead.
We find little Easter eggs like that all over the place. Hindsight 2020, every Monday at 9 p.m. Eastern.
All right. Awesome.
$5.
Good
Trump woman. Trump's attorneys weren't able to disqualify a pro tem judge. They didn't get to help pick jurors. Either this trial was all a movie or they were stacking up on appeals. Yeah, but what about the people on the appeals court? I hear they're a shit show too. Thank you
very racially diverse. A DEI appeals court.
And by
Whatever.
diverse, we mean completely monochrome. And by monochrome, we mean black.
Monochrome only means one color, right?
Yeah.
It's not an insult.
Yeah, I know. It's not. It's not.
It's just funny the
$1.
way Patrick said it.
$1. Keith O'Higgins. This felony narrative could fall apart when SCOTUS rules on immunity. Oh yeah. Those
All
judges
female.
are going to. Yep. Oh, all black women. Yep. They're going to be total conservatives.
It's like a meeting of Joe Biden's potential vice presidential candidates.
I know.
That's how they selected in 2020.
So they're going to be. Are we allowed to like have cameras in the appeals court? Because that's going to be fun.
I don't know how they do that.
The note there says that the judges will be pulled from a pool of 21, not necessarily these 5.
They're going to be these 5.
Well, you've got a point.
$1. Keith O'Higgins. This felony narrative could fall apart when SCOTUS rules on immunity. Even limited immunity covers clerical misdemeanor / felonies while signed as POTUS.
Well, I don't think he was POTUS when this happened.
No, he wasn't. That's a good point.
It was during the campaign.
$5. Wedged gravy. 1. Megyn Kelly is vaccine injured and dying a shitty death. 2. X22 had a good point about Trump's case mirroring the HRC case. 3. Brunson case. 3. Liberal justices recused themselves. Any insight? What?
Okay. Number 1, I don't know if Megyn Kelly is vaccinated, but she sure sounds like it. Number 2,
she's talked about it.
Okay, well then, okay, makes sense. Number 2, there was no HRC case. I have not seen any HRC case being brought forth, but it does mirror what she did with the campaign finance thing. So yes,
I think that's what he means.
Number 3, the Brunson case. I feel like we get a Brunson case like barrage. It's a barrage. Yeah, a barrage or mirage, whichever one, both of them. Like every 3 months, like everybody's like, oh my God, the Brunson case. It's the same thing I'm going to say. Until anything actually happens from the Brunson case, I honestly just don't give a shit, because this is like the 3rd or 4th time that people are like, you guys better be paying attention to the Brunson case, and nothing happens. Nothing. And same thing here. I don't believe the 3 liberal justices actually recused themselves. That's probably some bullshit story. Was that raw news alerts or something?
Raw news, I think.
Was this a real thing?
I think I think it was on NTD that was reprinting Epic Times. I think it was actually correct. It was my impression that the story was correct. They had petitioned the court for something. They recused, and the other 6 justices denied what they wanted. Now that
didn't happen again.
Right. And I am not trying to cast aspersions on them or that case. I think in principle, they are absolutely right. And I wish them all the best in their pursuit of it. Take all the shots you can take, man. I get that there is a need to kind of push back on how far people are taking that ball and running with it at different points. And so I totally think that is justified critique within the kind of community. But what they're doing, I think, is admirable. And they're
I'm not saying that.
I know you're not. I just want to be very clear for the audience. And I think in principle, they're exactly right. These people are not serving legitimately, and there should be somebody to appeal to who is equipped to resolve that. It turns out we don't have one of those bodies. And at that point, you have to realize that we are far past whatever the founders would have agreed for us to be the point at which we deem the government illegitimate.
And this is where I'm at. It's happened with Mike Lindell's Cyber Symposium.
Mhm.
We tell people like, hey, just slow your roll. Let's see what happens. This might end up not being anything. We get chastised. Then it happened with the Brunson case number 1. We get chastised for saying, hey, let's see what happens. See the Supreme Court take. This has happened like 15 times along the way, the past 2.5, 3 years, whatever it's been. And every time we get chastised, we turn out to be right. We don't get any fucking apologies ever, but it's happened again. Like the Brunson case, we talked out, not even talking down on it. Like, yes, you're right, Chris. What they're doing is admirable, and what they're doing is correct. But if you believe that there's a bigger plan going on behind the scenes, like Devolution or the QOP or whatever, some random people suing the Supreme Court and a bajillion other people, even though they're right in principle, because all these people are illegitimate and corrupt, that is not going to be what turns things around. There's a greater plan in play, and I don't see how the Supreme Court, who are part of the lawsuit being sued, are going to accept that lawsuit. It's just not, to me, it's common sense. It's not going to fucking happen that way. But people get mad at me for saying that. And then I turn out to be right, and I don't get a single apology for it. So
I could totally see the situation partially at least resolved in some way by normal Americans taking the proper route through it.
The proper route is not through the Supreme Court, though. If we're being honest, we could probably say the proper route, but FBI probably show up at my door. But maybe we'll get there eventually. We'll see.
I don't even know what you're implying.
I have no idea what you're talking about, but I'm disavowing it just for prophylactic purposes.
Let's just keep going through the rants. I shouldn't have even stopped for that.
$10. John Henry Bonzo. Donald Trump is coming for all that ass. Greatly appreciate the voice of reason, fellas. Be well and press on. Brian, the future is bright. Indeed it is, especially if the sports ball team won. I guess they did win or something like that. $1, Keith O'Higgins. If Democrats can call free speech as a dog whistle, can we call their speech pussy flutes? Yeah. Thank you very much. $1 Curtis Good. The Al Capone meme probably stems from how Trump himself makes the comparison at his rallies that Al Capone was only indicted once, tax fraud, and he 34 times, implying he's treated worse than Capone. I think that's accurate. Not 100% sure, but I think so. $2 John Henry Bonzo 1717. Do you understand what is happening? Think optics. Q. It's Q drop number 1717. And Q of what date? Probably 2018. Thank you very much for the super chat. $5. 3 dogs, 1 cat. Love Badlands. Thanks for all you do. And thank you for the super chat. $10. Who's a Guinness? Bannon actually legitimized the Kelly rant this morning. I can only assume this is MAGA's organized effort to get people pissed. Bannon did follow it up with telling people they need to volunteer.
The Bannon narrative push is interesting for sure. I do see him as like a leading voice in Trump's narrative or the Devo team narrative, whatever. So him pushing that DA stuff and like retribution, it's interesting.
I'd like to say thanks to everybody for how unbelievably generous you're being with the super chats.
Yeah.
But if I could just ask for one quick thing, also smash that thumbs up button. We haven't hoard nearly hard enough for likes this episode, and we like to be number 1. But we like the money too, so don't stop that either. Okay, $5. Q alerts. Hola, homies. Hey, Q alerts, what's up?
Hey, Q alerts is up, man.
$1. Call sign Cujo. Great show, guys. Please join us 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time live interview with Gandalf, aka Medbeds Co. Tom tomorrow 602-24. Link the rapid response. So thank you. Thank you for the $1. 51.
Speaking of boring.
I know, right? $51. Quinny 63. Favorite night of the week. Well, okay, Monday night is just as bitchin'. Much love. Thank you so much, Quinny. I'm gonna be sending you a gift in the mail on Monday. $5. Thomas Times 76. Is locals the only way to support monthly? Rumble keeps routing me over there. There's a way. You just
Rumble too.
There's a box you can check when you do a Rumble rant that says make it become a monthly supporter. When you do the Rumble rant, there's a box you can check. Last time I checked. Thank you very much, Thomas Time 76. $2 Fredo Awakening. Mohap. Chicks with Dicks is real. Happy Mental Illness Month. Every month is a mental illness month for me, Fredo. $10 North Star 07. John, please post the CogCon alert that went out to government on January 19th, or that clip where you went down the list of evidence. I'm trying to show some idiots that devolution is feasible.
Hold for processing. I'll pull it up.
Yeah, the CogCon stuff was fun. That was great.
It's addendum part 2, which is not on my website. But here, I'll post in the chat.
We got to upload that to ChatGPT.
Yeah.
We also have Becca 20 is now a monthly supporter. Thank you so much for that. $5 Wild Boar 17. Remember, Biden denied RFK Jr. Secret Service coverage when his dad literally was assassinated while campaigning, but Biden gives Trump a bigger Secret Service entourage, bigger than his own. Devo proof. I feel like you did that one already, but thank you for paying for it. Nice, Wild Boar. CogCon 2. The White House has set continuity. This is a text message, okay, to a person who is apparently a person who would receive a text message like this. The White House has set continuity of government conditions to 2. No action is required by you at this time. As an emergency relocation group member, you are reminded that should an order for continuity of operations occur, you must report to the alternate operating facility within 4 hours. 1, acknowledged. 2, acknowledged not capable of reporting within desired time frame. 3, acknowledged not able to report to alternate operating facility. To respond, click on this link. What's the date and time?
That was January 19th, whatever time it says on there.
Okay.
Check this out.
a.m.
Check this out too. Normally, like the normal level is CogCon 4.
Mm-hmm.
Their normal work locations, all that stuff. It skipped all the way down to 2. They did. They skipped past 3.
Yeah, and maybe CogCon 1 doesn't send out texts because they're already at the freaking alternate facility.
And what are the odds of that happening the day before Trump leaves office and Biden is inaugurated? Like, I feel like this is a massive fuck up, if I'm being honest. Like somebody like, there's a button like, hey, we're going to initiate CogCon. and it's supposed to be like more of a secret thing, but somebody hit that button anyway, and this went out to everybody, and it wasn't supposed to be this obvious or public. But yeah, fascinating shit. We'll talk about that in the Devolution recap series in a couple weeks.
Absolutely. God, I can't wait. It's so nice to go back to some of this stuff because you know how quickly we forget.
The Dong Jing Wei thing, dude, because I just did part 2. The Dong Jing Wei thing is mind-blowing when you go back through that. Mind-blowing. Like, how the fuck did that happen? And nobody talks about Dong Jing Wei. Nobody.
And where is he? What's going on with that?
Yeah. It's crazy.
Oh, my gosh. All right. Next. $5 monthly supporter. The Prue is now a monthly supporter. Thank you so much. $5. Livy Girl 1. Yes, Patrick. I noticed Flat Earth Dave too. He's a friend. He's a great guy. Thank you so much. And now Thomas times 76 is now a monthly supporter. Excellent. Thank you so much, my friend. $2. Keith O'Higgins, South Korean weatherman, says it's raining cats and dogs because someone stepped in a poodle. Nice, Keith O'Higgins, because it's like puddle, you know.
But poo.
Yeah, words. Okay. Anyway, thank you so much. $5 Fredo Awakening. Love you, Patrick. Good guy. Will be fun when you come out. Wife may be pissed, but whatever. You do you and suck what you want to suck. Keep it real. Thank you, Fredo Awakening, but I'm not interested. Next. I'm flattered, though. Genuinely flattered, sir. And you do you. $5 Wedged Gravy. Eye of the Storm coverage of Post 34 gave me a MAGA boner. You should share that with Fredo Awakening. He's very, very into it.
Also, if it persists for more than 4 hours, you should see your doctor.
Indeed. But only an independent doctor, not connected to a Rockefeller Foundation school. $1 Ball Shack. Here's a quarter. You can split it. Thanks, guys. Thank you. $10 Envy Runner. Great show, guys. And thank you very much. $5 Jason of TGA. Whitewater was a case involving documents, building exploding, and Hillary. Just saying. Agreed. And Boom Diggity, $100. Thank you so much, Boom Diggity. Maybe all of the New York judges and most of SCOTUS are all actually central casting. It's something we have to keep in mind. You know,
It is interesting.
Know what's real.
Roberts did not take up calls for Alito to recuse himself or whatever. Alito to be disbarred from hearing any of Trump's cases. He's like, sit down, guys.
$100. Oh, wait. So I got that one already. $1 Angie K. He was POTUS when the bookkeeping error happened. The check was written in 2017. That came up in court several times. Okay, so this is a reference to when Donald Trump was president during the so-called crime taking place. So maybe qualified immunity could apply. Thank you so much for the super chat. $50. Doctor in name only. Always so confused why John gets so triggered about the Brunson cases.
It's because we'll give $50 Rumble rants asking about it. No, but for real, it's because this is literally the 4th time that people have been like, oh, guys, Brunson case. Why don't you ever talk about the Brunson case? I'm like, let's just see it go through. But being somebody who wrote the Devolution series, I don't think a Brunson case or a Supreme Court appeal from somebody like that is going to be what turns things around. So I'm sure none of this is going to actually go through. And every time I've been right about that, but I get shit for saying it. So that's why I get triggered about the Brunson cases.
This is freaking awesome, guys. Anyway, $5 Wedged Gravy. Brunson case. Why bring up the 3 justices recusing themselves?
And know what? The 3 justices recusing themselves didn't even matter if the rest of the 6 denied it.
I think it's just the point about where it sits in the information op of it all. You know, we're getting the Alito recusal conversation about what they're calling a flag controversy, which actually isn't controversial at all. And then that is put in parallel to Mershon refusing to recuse, despite the fact that his daughter is currently receiving massive sums of money,
like tens of millions,
prominent Democrats. Yeah.
Yeah. So the judge who oversaw the case where Trump just got 34-0-0 Like 34 times guilty, 0 times not guilty. His daughter received tens of $million from the Biden-Kamala Harris campaign.
And Hakeem Jeffries and Adam Schiff and
multiple
Dan Goldman. Yeah, it goes on. Yeah.
All right, next. $5 wedged gravy. It's the theme of the weird stories that just pops up to the surface like we're meant to see it and then disappears. Oh, okay. So wedged gravy is talking about the recusal. And then thank you so much, wedged gravy. $5 wild boar 17. You all miss me yet? You didn't give me a chance to, bro. But I'll miss you the moment we're off this show.
Awesome. That's all the Rumble Rants. You guys were awesome tonight.
Unfreaking real.
Lots of rants, lots of thumbs up, lots of viewers.
Yes, please hit that thumbs up. We don't want to come in second to like
anybody.
Anybody.
We do have a Badlands boost over at badlandsmedia.tv/support from May 27th. So no current ones, but it says, thanks for working on the holiday. Love both Devo shows, never in chat, but anyways, watching but always watching.
Wild Boar came in with a late one. He's
your dollar
giving us a little Oliver Anthony.
Your dollar ain't shit. Won't get your Rumble rant rid, and it's all bullshit, and it's tax no end.
Yeah. Is it Anthony Oliver? Oliver Anthony? I don't remember that dude's name. He was around for a week, and then just gone.
I saw him hugging like, was it Jimmy Kimmel or something crazy, like shirtless?
Yeah. That was the fakest and gayest thing I've ever seen in my life.
That song rules, though.
Yeah, that song was great.
I've been selling my soul for 18 years. Whatever. It's a despair anthem.
It's a wonderful song.
I'd like to remind all of you that you're completely fucked.
Anyway, guys, thank you for tuning in. Patrick, Chris, missed you guys last weekend, but glad to be back.
Likewise.
And make sure you guys are following on Locals right below this Rumble stream. You can click a little button that says like follow on Locals or something. Follow us over there because I'm going to do part 3 tomorrow at some point. And we're going to end the show since I brought up Dong Jingwei with our Dong compilation.
Yes.
We'll see y'all next week. Thanks, Chris. Thanks, Patrick.
Bye, guys. Tyrion Lannister said that nothing that comes before the word "but" counts. But you know.
Fair enough, honestly.
And that's a fitting reference because tonight's episode is titled "A Dong of Ice and Fire." We are going to get into the Dong Jingwei situation. He made an appearance.
Let's save the dong for last. I'm a little wary of touching the dong yet. Talking dong. Who is the better dong? Dong on the brain.
Dong on the brain.
Dong on the brain.
That's not so bad.
Chris, are you finally like buzzed enough to handle a little dong or not?
I mean, I won't personally handle it, but I will at least allow it to be in my presence. Best dong contest.
Dong.
So the guy defects to the United States and goes straight to the DIA. At the time, they had that Sino-American summit up in Alaska. China's like, hey, give us our dong back. And Blinken's like, I've never seen your dong. And so they had no idea that the dong was here. And so it was an embarrassing moment for Biden. He had no idea. But the DIA, the military, was basically keeping this defector and nobody else knew about it. A huge devolution proof right there.
This is the most massive thing ever. And because it's called dong, we are minimizing it with humor, and I'm trying to stop, but I can't.
There's been no public sightings of dong in China since this happened.
Well, they're really small over there, so it's harder to see them.
God damn it.